Beat stars.
All I got is blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda. All I got is blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda. All I got is blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda. All I got is blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda. All I got is blue Honda. Don't ask me for no change, I ain't got none. I heard he going broke, better pray for him. You can catch me in the club with a block on. Don't do it to yourself, I got the Glock on. It feel real good to have a sack on. I don't care about the hoe, so you can bag those. 550 what I paid for my first gun. If you owe me, you ain't pay me, nigga, I don't want it. What they say, shit will go around, come around. Act like it's all good, but I'ma lay it out. You that flagger, you ain't got it, you a shit eater. Fuck niggas want verses, I don't do features. Catch me in the strip club on the day shift. Respray the Pontiac, that's a facelift. Talk not 4950 quick flip. Acting old about me, nigga, I leave the hate flip. Blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda. All I got is blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda. All I got is blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda. All I got is blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda. All I got is blue Honda. If you're looking for him, standing on the couch, man. Blowing kush shop and old fuck what you think. These hoes that say they love you, your bread right. Friends turn into your enemies, nigga, overnight. I'm a different kind of nigga, I'm in elite class. And I bang yeah, nigga in my weight class. Like Soldier Slim said, I pay for it. But one thing I won't do, I won't wait for it. Still wearing white tees like a D-boy. And still sliding through the city in a decoy. I used to like Sykes, now I like him now. I used to fuck broke bitches, don't see him now. Like they say, nigga, money over everything. My motherfucking brother, the only nigga that ain't changed. I give money for a bitch, that's my lifestyle. Real niggas, certain things we don't talk about. Blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda. All I got is blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda. All I got is blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda. All I got is blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda, blue Honda. All I got is blue Honda. Gucci gang, bitch, yeah, the side way. Bitch, I'm there leaving from the bank, yeah, the side way. Blue cheese and a nigga pocket, yeah, the side way. Bitch, I been grinding all day, yeah, the side way. Gucci gang, bitch, yeah, the side way. Bitch, I'm there leaving from the bank, yeah, the side way. Blue cheese and a nigga pocket, yeah, the side way. Bitch, I been grinding all day for the people. Bitch, I'm a boss, I don't need no favor. I don't throw shots, throw money at a hater. Just wanna fuck, I don't really wanna date her. Just left the bank, yeah, I just read up. Hitters on deck, yeah, they just skid up. If you hating on me, I'll cross your nuts. If it ain't about the bag, then I ain't in no rush. Worth 8 figure now, you can get free lunch. Why ball every day, cause you only live once. Wake up every morning with a bag on my mind. Can't click over, I got cash on my line. Hustle for the fam, I don't hustle for the jewel. Team full of winners, we don't fuck with the lose. You gotta fuck with me, I'm like good dope. When it come to getting money, I'm the motherfucking gold. Yeah, I been grinding like a bitch, yeah, the side way. Gucci gang, bitch, yeah, the side way. Bitch, I'm there leaving from the bank, yeah, the side way. Blue cheese and a nigga pocket, yeah, the side way. Bitch, I been grinding all day, yeah, the side way. Gucci gang, bitch, yeah, the side way. Bitch, I'm there leaving from the bank, yeah, the side way. Blue cheese and a nigga pocket, yeah, the side way. Love money so much, might think a nigga true. On the road so much, might think a nigga true. When they ain't getting money, they don't wanna see flourish. And the ass so much, starting to feel like a store. When it come to the sack, bitch, I can be a tutor. I'ma shoot it myself, I don't pay for no shoes. So many hoes at the house starting to look like hoodles. If the bitch ain't bad, I'ma sit on the Buddha. Money so dirty, bitch, I might throw up. Hoe go to yelling and that me pulling up. Story my life, bitch, I love the grind. Feeling like prime, bitch, I love the shine. Wanna see me smile, bitch, bring me a bag. I don't like checks, bitch, bring me cash. I'm just chillin', sippin' on a little latte. Ride around the city, yeah, get in the sag way. Yeah, I been grinding like a bitch, yeah, the side way. Gucci gang, bitch, yeah, the side way. Bitch, I'm there leaving from the bank, yeah, the side way. Blue cheese and a nigga pocket, yeah, the side way. Bitch, I been grinding all day, yeah, the side way. Gucci gang, bitch, yeah, the side way. Bitch, I'm there leaving from the bank, yeah, the side way. Blue cheese and a nigga pocket, yeah, the side way. Segway. sack way. Gucci gang, bitch, yeah, the sack way. Bitch, I'm there leaving from the bank, yeah, the sack way. Blue cheese and a nigga pocket, yeah, the sack way. Bitch, I been grinding all day, yeah, the sack way. Gucci gang, bitch, yeah, the sack way. Bitch, I'm there leaving from the bank, yeah, the sack way. Blue cheese and a nigga pocket, yeah, the sack way.
All right, y'all. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Hold on, let me get this right, man. Let me get this right, man. Mic check 1 2 1 2 in the place to be. What's going on with y'all, man? What's going on with y'all? I got a lot going on. I know I look a little bit funny. Okay? I know I look a little bit funny. It's kind of lagging a little bit. I know I do. I know I look a little bit funny, but I need y'all, listen, I need y'all to hit that like button. We got to hit that like button, y'all. I don't know how I'm in the algorithm right now. All right. I don't know how, but I need y'all to hit that like button. All right. We only got 2 likes. We only got 2 likes, y'all. I need y'all to hit that like button. We need 50 likes, y'all. We need 50 likes, y'all. Right now, I'm under a shadow ban. I done figured some stuff out. It's running a little bit slow. I understand. I get it. I need to upgrade my computer. I'm using multiple different softwares right now. Okay, but y'all bear with me. Now, this is what I want y'all to do. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. And shout out to one of my top mods in the building. All right, put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Somebody said I look like a discount Denzel Washington. That's hilarious. You want to know what's crazy is people been telling me I look like Denzel Washington. People tell me I look like Ludacris. Some people tell me I look like Joel Santana. We're going to get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Nah, I don't look like no Diddy, man. I know for a fact I don't look like no Diddy because 1, I'm a little bit lighter than Diddy. So I know for a fact I don't look like no motherfucking Diddy. All right? I know I don't look like no motherfucking Diddy. And pause, no Diddy, no homo. I know I look more handsome. I know I look more handsome than Diddy. All right? We're going to go over this Candace Owens, Erika Kirk addressing, but listen, I'm not seeing enough 1s in the chat. No, somebody says, are you homophobic? No, I'm definitely not homophobic at all. I'm actually in the music industry, and you cannot be in the music industry without being around gay people. I'm sorry. It is what it is. So I've made a lot of money with gay people. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. You know, the funny thing is you can go to Denny's and have a waitress or a waiter. Your waitress or your waiter could be gay. You don't even know it. We are amongst gay people all the time. Okay? We are amongst gay people. You got gay people in your churches. You got gay people in your schools. You got gay people in your workplaces. You see what I'm saying? Somebody says, throw my setup away. Here's the thing. I'm being bootlegged right now because I'm under a shadow ban with YouTube. So I've been having to do research. I've been having to do research all day. So this is going to be a bootleg stream. But the most important thing is y'all can hear me. That's the most important thing, y'all, because I got monetized on December 11th. That's why I'm speaking so fast right now. Normally I talk a little bit slow, but I got to get as many words out as I can right now because I don't know when the algorithm is going to come through and shut me off. But let me just tell y'all something. Make sure y'all like. We got 2 likes. We need 50 likes. We need 48 more likes. All right. We need 48 more likes. But let me tell y'all something. I was monetized on December 11, 2025. Once I got monetized, YouTube basically stopped my viewers. I was going live. I was only having 2 and 3 and 4 people in the chat. So a lot of my subscribers have not been getting my notifications. And the reason that YouTube has been kind of player hating on me and shadow banning my channel is because the more views you get on your video, the more they have to pay you. When you're not monetized, YouTube still runs ads on your video, but you don't get to make any of that money because YouTube keeps all of that because you're not monetized. Now that I'm monetized, YouTube is playing funny games with my algorithm. Okay, so let me just break something down to y'all. What y'all are seeing on YouTube, you're actually seeing a mirror. Okay, I am live on YouTube. All right, I'm live on YouTube, guys, but you're seeing a mirror. You're seeing a mirror of rumble.com. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and let me actually spam my link. We're going to get into the video in just a second here, y'all. I apologize. I know this is bootleg as hell, but you know, I'm from South Carolina, you know, and you know, and my father's from Brooklyn. So, you know, so in other words, we get it how we live. You feel what I'm saying? We get it how we can. We get it how we live. I need y'all to hit that like button. Y'all just don't know. You guys do not know the struggle that I have been up against since I've been monetized on December 11th. Because guys, only about 10% of content creators on YouTube are monetized. You understand what I'm saying? Only about 10% of content creators on YouTube are monetized. So I put in the work. All of a sudden I go live. There's only 2 and 3 people in the chat. Okay. So I need y'all to hit that like button, please. We need 46 more likes. We need to get to 50 likes, y'all. They have been shadow banning the hell out of my channel. Okay. Shout out to Rod's Will in the building. But I'm spamming my Rumble link in the chat. Okay, so that is where we are live. That's how y'all are seeing me right now. That's how y'all seeing me right now. All right. And I know it's bootleg. I know it's bootleg, y'all. I'm sorry. I know it's bootleg. I'm sorry. But it is what it is, y'all. The most important thing is that y'all can hear me. That's the most important thing. Let me check something else. I'm making some adjustments here, y'all. You know what's crazy? We had 6 likes. We need 44 more likes, y'all. We have to get to 50 likes, y'all. Y'all just don't know how important this is. Y'all don't know. Somebody said I look like Kid Cudi. Hey, somebody told me I look like Kid Cudi before. Somebody told me I look like Kid Cudi before. All right, but y'all just don't understand. I work my behind off to get monetized. All of a sudden I go live and then YouTube don't want to put nobody in my chat. So y'all just don't understand. I appreciate y'all being here. We're going to be here at least an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. All right. So we're going to take this slow. We're going to make this work. Okay. So we're going to make this work. I need y'all to hit that like button, y'all. I know y'all think I'm playing because people come on YouTube and they want to take y'all money and stuff like that. But notice, I'm not asking y'all for no money. The money's going to come. Okay. Pause. No diddy. The money's going to come. Y'all just don't understand. I need y'all to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to Zone 864 TV. And I need y'all to hit that like button. We at 8 likes. We got to get 42 more likes, y'all. We have to get to 50 likes, y'all. You guys don't understand the BS that I've been going through with YouTube since December 11th, since I've been monetized. You guys don't understand. I've already went live about 7 or 8 times. YouTube not sending my notifications out. So the fact that y'all are even seeing me live right now, you guys don't. That's why my computer's running slow, because I'm using a lot of stuff right now just so that y'all can actually see me on the screen. Y'all just don't understand. But the most important thing is that y'all can hear me. That's the most important thing, is that y'all can hear me. Now I'm spamming my Rumble link in the chat. So if you want to see the actual real live stream, I'm actually coming to you from Rumble. What you're seeing on YouTube right now is a mirror of what is on Rumble. Okay. And I think it's running a little bit slow over there as well, but it's all good. All right. So we got to get 40 more likes, y'all. We at 10 likes, y'all. We at 10 likes right now. Okay. Somebody said get a webcam. I'm on a webcam. I'm on a webcam right now. Ashes Stella, just make sure you subscribe to the channel. What are you complaining? I'm actually not complaining. I'm just telling y'all what I've been through. Ashes Stella, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We had 11 likes, y'all. We're going to go ahead and get started because I don't know what YouTube is going to do with this algorithm. I don't know what YouTube is going to do with this algorithm, but we're going to go ahead and get started here. Let me make some adjustments, y'all. Let me make some adjustments here. Hold on. We're going to get this right. We're going to get this right, y'all. Let's see here. We're going to get this right, y'all. We got to get this right. Hold on. All right. So hold on. We should be able to see that. There we go. Let me make sure it's coming through on YouTube. Yeah. Okay. All right, y'all. Hit that like button. Let's go. We're going to get started. We're going to be here for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. All right. Hit that like button. We need, we got to get to 50 likes. All right. We had 11 likes, y'all. We got to get to 50 likes, y'all. Let's go.
You guys are absolutely crazy. The amount of people who attacked me for sending out a tweet being like, hey, I'm good, I'm alive. We had a very productive conversation. And they were like, she got the call. She got the call. She's betrayed us. She's doing something else. I can't believe she got the, hey, I'm good. Okay, you guys are crazy. You guys are absolutely crazy. The amount of people who attacked me for sending out a tweet being like, hey, I'm good, I'm alive. We had a very productive conversation. And they were like, she got the call. She got the call. She's betrayed us. She's doing something else. I can't believe it. This has all just been a show. Calm down, okay? What do you think happened? Well, Erika said, stop. And then I was frozen for 4 hours and 30 minutes, just like, as they just put all of these talking points into my head. That is not what happened. I keep telling you guys, I am not governable. I am basically akin to Kanye West. I never felt more seen than when he tweeted a lot of years ago, just fired my manager because I realized I can't be managed. That is me. That tweet right there, I was like, oh gosh, yes, Kanye, that I get this. Okay. Nobody is changing their mind anything. How ridiculous would it have been if I'm doing all of this, investigating, asking all of these questions, and then Erika Kirk offers to answer some of these questions. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to go. I can't betray the people. I don't want any answers to the questions. I just want to ask them. No, this is the entire reason we are doing this. We've been looking at the situation going, why can't Turning Point USA just answer basic questions? And I can tell you guys that yesterday, for 4 hours and 30 minutes, there were no rules. They said you can ask us any question that you want, anything that's on your mind, which I appreciated. And some of you guys are thinking, who is they? Who is they? It's the Jews, obviously. Just kidding. It's Justin Strife. Justin Strife was in the room. It was just Justin Strife and Erika. George joined me just for the beginning portion of the conversation because he had that thing going on that I told you on the 15th all day. He was in a conference. And then I brought my cousin Mia, the one that has a really bad attitude. I just bring her there for vibes. I think it just confuses people. They're like, I don't understand what's this person doing here. And the reality is she's like always just listening to Cardi B music. But she's my cousin and I always have her around. And so that was it. She was kind of sitting a little bit away, but at the table, it was really just the four of us until George left. And
okay, guys, we're at 15 likes, y'all. Okay, we're at 15 likes. We got to get to 50 likes, y'all. We need 35 more likes. So as you're coming into the live stream, please make sure you hit that like button. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Okay, we got to get 34 more likes, y'all. We have to get to 50. Thank you all for joining me. Please make sure you hit that like button. And I know it's a little bit funny right now, but you guys do not understand what I had to do tonight just to get on the screen. Okay, I was monetized on December 11th. Okay, and YouTube has been throwing all kind of wrenches at me, not putting my streams in the algorithm. So I'm so happy that y'all are here with me tonight, this morning. It is 2:09 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. Hit that like button. Let's go.
And I will be honest, I did not know what to expect going into the room.
And yes, I agree. Somebody said in the chat, she's so fine. Yes, Candace she's a decent looking woman. I can't deny that. Candace Owens is a decent looking woman. Let's go.
I did not know if they were going to be open. I didn't know.
So, and I apologize, y'all. This is going to be a little bit unorthodox, but I need to try to get out as much information as I possibly can. So basically, in a nutshell, for those of you that don't know, Candace Owens and Erika Kirk had a sit down arranged by Megyn Kelly. They just had a sit down like a day or two ago. Charlie Kirk was assassinated in September of this year. And basically the reason for the sit down is because Candace Owens has kind of been going down the conspiracy theory tunnel. And in a nutshell, Erika Kirk isn't liking Candace Owens' tone. Erika Kirk Candace Owens has been saying that, Turning Point USA has conspired to assassinate Charlie Kirk. She's been saying that the Israelis have conspired to assassinate Charlie Kirk. Like, she's been saying all of these outrageous things. And, in fact, she even went as far as saying that, and I'm sure that we've all seen the unfortunate Charlie Kirk assassination on video. After Charlie Kirk was assassinated, she even went as far as saying that the assassination wasn't real. Candace Owens even went as far as saying that the blood, saying that there should have been more blood in the video. Here we are in December of 2025. Where is Charlie Kirk? If Charlie Kirk, if everything was so fake and so fraud and it wasn't real and it's such a conspiracy theory, and the Israel is behind it and Turning Point is behind it. If everything is all fake, right? Because she said this, right? She said it. Where is Charlie Kirk right now? How come we haven't seen Charlie Kirk doing one of his, famous debates on a college campus, the Prove Me Wrong challenge and everything that he does? If it's so fake, how come Charlie Kirk's children isn't able to hug their father if it's so fake? And this is what I've been trying to tell you guys online. Do I want to make money from this content? Absolutely. But I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to give you a balanced perspective. I am the objective perspective. I'm not a subjective person. I don't believe everything somebody says just because they have 1 million, 1 million, 5 million followers online. I want us to approach things with an objective perspective. And I find it absolutely, and I was not a Charlie Kirk fan. I was not at all. There were quite a few things that Charlie Kirk said that I just vehemently disagree with. I just disagree. You know, I've heard him say like Martin Luther King should not have a holiday. I disagree with that. Charlie Kirk wasn't alive back then when black people were getting attacked by dogs marching across Selma for civil rights, getting bricks thrown at them by white supremacists. Charlie Kirk doesn't know anything about that. Charlie Kirk's people never had to endure anything like that. And I'm not trying to make this about oppression and black people and slavery and all of this kind of stuff, but I'm just telling you the truth. Just like my grandfather was born in 1924, and I know nothing about the struggle that my grandparents went through. So when I hear people saying ridiculous things, it's my job as a content creator to come online and address it and give a balanced perspective, because young people are listening. Young people look up to these people as if they're celebrities, and they're not celebrities. They look up to the Candace Owens and the Steven Crowders and the Charlie Kirks and the sellout coon Myron Gaines and Fresh and Fitz and these, you know, dumbass Nick Fuente. They look up to these guys as if they're gods, and they're not fucking gods. See, unlike a lot of these content creators, I have no problem using my hands to make money. I know how to change a tire. If a car gets a flat on the side of the road, I know how to fix a faucet if it starts leaking. See, I can get out in the real world and I can use my hands, and I can get my hands dirty, and I can get scratches on my body because I know how to work with my hands. I don't just need to come on YouTube and get all type of money and put out all kind of conspiracy content just to get people all riled up. That's not what I need to do. We're at 21 likes, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get to 50 likes. Okay, so can we get 29? Can we get 29 more likes? Somebody says it seems like I'm bitter and angry. No, don't be a hater. I'm not being a hater. I'm not bitter and angry. I'm blessed and I'm happy to be live right now. I'm just giving my perspective on things right now in life. That's all I'm doing. You guys have I'm telling you, I've been live like 7 or 8 times already. YouTube has been shadow banning me to hell. But you know, enough with me, man. Let's listen to the video. Let's go.
Know what Erika's energy was going to be like, if it was going to be more of an argument, if there was going to be legal threats. You guys were telling me not to drink water, so I didn't drink water. Well, I brought my own water, but I didn't drink that water too. It was a lot. There's a lot going on, okay? And the conversation started with Justin Strife very sensibly saying, what are we looking to accomplish here? Like, what is the actual aim of this conversation? And he was pretty clear, and Erika was very clear, that they were sort of most upset with obviously a bit of a fever pitch, when I tweeted that it was a godforsaken company and people should not give money to it. And I have to own that. That's aggressive. That is actually aggressive in the retrospect. I was very frustrated. And I don't know, I felt like we weren't getting any answers, and there were so many lies. And then I was getting attacked for asking all meaningful questions that was within their capacity to answer. And I told you, I definitely, my problem in life is that I can rise to anger very quickly. I shared with them that I really felt like I was under attack for telling the truth from the very beginning, like casually when I mentioned the Catholicism thing. Like, what was that about? I was like, look, I say something in a tribute to him. Alex Clark and Andrew Colvett then jump onto a podcast and they're doing that weird interview, which is clearly aimed at me. And they've teased the interview as like aimed at me, but they never say my name. And that to me felt like it was the first, I don't know, the first bit of mud that was slung, their answer for that was, hey, that was a really crazy time. A new system had to be put into place. And by no means did Erika give any person the authority to go out and say that the Catholicism thing was a lie. It kind of turned into this big thing. Whatever. Okay, that kind of obviously was not the meat of the reason that we wanted to sit down. I will say I was immediately refreshed by the fact that one of the first things that Erika did was she owned the lies, or rather, I guess they would cage it as miscommunications that were coming from various people at the company. Like, look, this is a company with 650 people that are employed. Everybody at this time is exceedingly emotional and they are communicating. And no matter what somebody says on Twitter, they assume that this communication has come down from management, and that's not always a circumstance.
Guys, also, we're at 1,039 subscribers. Okay. Can we get to 1,050 subscribers? Can we get 11 more subscribers? Can we get 11 more subscribers to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell? Okay. Can we get to 1,050? Let's go.
But they owned right away, which felt great, that if you guys recall, Erika sat down with Glenn Beck. I actually missed this portion because I didn't get to watch the interview in its entirety, and we were pulling clips because a lot was coming out very quickly. But there was a portion that was going around that was viral, and it was Erika saying that she had Charlie's phone and that Charlie never texted anybody the night before saying that he thought that they were going to kill him. And that obviously reflected poorly on me because I was the one who said that he did, in fact, text multiple people the night before. And then I went on Jimmy Dore on Friday, Jimmy Dore's show, and I clarified. I said, Andrew Colvett told me specifically that he was one of the people that received this text message. So I got that first person. I didn't get that from a source. I got that directly from Andrew Colvett. And then somebody who had access to Dan Flood's communications said that Dan Flood similarly received a text message. They owned that right away and explained, Erika said.
Okay, so I tried doing my research on this guy, Dan Flood. Can somebody tell me who Dan Flood is in the chat? I'm going to pause it here for a few seconds. What's his name? Daniel Flood. Does anybody know who Daniel Flood is? You know, because I tried to get as much information as I possibly could, but not too much information came up on this guy. Does anybody know who Dan Flood is? Daniel Flood. Does anyone know who that is? If not, we'll just keep going. Can we get 26 more likes, ladies and gentlemen? We need to get to 50 likes. Can we get 26 more likes, ladies and gentlemen? We need to get to 50 likes. Does anyone know who Dan Flood is? And see, that's another thing, as I do my research and I dig deeper into these politics and, I try to follow the money, you run into all of these weird names, man. There are so many undercover people who just fund the Democrats, fund the Republicans. It's absolutely insane. So I tried doing my research on Dan Flood, but I didn't really get too much information, but let's go, y'all. Let's go.
That she has Charlie's phone. She's looking at his iMessages, and it turns out that he, like everybody else, communicates on Signal. He communicates on Telegram, and that those when she heard me say that, they then went and looked, and yes, that what I said was true. Andrew Colvett received a message the night before, and Dan Flood received a message the night before. Now, they asked me if I had actually like a concrete a copy of what Dan Flood got the night before, and I said no. If somebody told me what it said, which was almost exactly what Andrew said, which is they're going to kill me. Andrew did not know who they were, that he was referring to were, but they clarified that the message that Dan Flood received said the left is going to kill me. So I can't confirm that one way or the other. I have to trust them on that because I did not see that concrete message. I was told that it said they. Now, obviously, we discussed the moment, and I'm laughing here because you TikTokers are actually out of control. You guys are going to be the reason that Israel gets TikTok because you guys are acting a fool all the time. And the videos were so hilarious of you guys.
So the funny thing about her making that remark about Israel getting TikTok, you guys understand that TikTok is actually available in a lot of different countries. But one thing that a lot of people don't know is the TikTok that's here in America and the TikTok that's in China, the TikTok that's in different countries, the algorithms are not the same. See, TikTok here in America, they show our youth, they show our children a bunch of dumb shit. They show our children a bunch of dumb viral things that it doesn't make them smarter. Over in China, their version of TikTok, it's making them smarter. It doesn't show any type of demoralizing content over in China. Over in China, there's a much better version of TikTok that they show their children, their youth, their population. But over here in America, the algorithm is programmed to show us dumb shit. So even if they do end up getting a TikTok in Israel, it's not going to be the same TikTok that they show us here in America. I can assure you that. Okay, guys, we need 22. We need 22 more likes, I think, to get to 50. We're at 28 likes. And we need 10 more subscribers to get to 1,050 subscribers. OK. All right. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Let's go.
Talking the Barry Weiss interview. It's great. It's good to laugh at ourselves. And Barry Weiss is always worth laughing at. But I was sort of like, hey, I felt name checked by the podcaster, Candace Owens, this obvious setup, and then asking me to stop. And it's interesting to hear Erika say that the reason she didn't ask me to stop in the beginning, because she was actually learning things from the show. She was actually learning things, and that I think she similarly felt that Barry Weiss was trying to create a moment. Obviously, it's who Barry Weiss is. It's the Zionist lobby. She's trying to right perceived wrongs because I'm against her side. That does not surprise me. That's kind of why Barry Weiss exists. That's the reason they put her at CBS, is because she's just committed to stacking the audience with people that are going to present the pro-Israel cause and talk about anti-Semitism and talk about like crime being on the rise. It's kind of an embarrassment, but I actually do accept that. And I should also clarify that Barry Weiss obviously picked those questions. They were not random, like I told you. It wasn't like people were coming to the mic and it was an open mic and they didn't know if they were going to get. It was all very much planned by Barry. But Erika said that she knew the general idea, like they were going to mention me and mention the conspiracies, but she was not given that specific, the podcaster, Candace Owens, question. So I think that's fair to clear that up. Now, I did not at all recant any of my suspicions, and I understand people disagree with me about particular people at Turning Point USA. I communicated what I communicated in front of the whole world. My skin crawled after I spoke to Terrell Farnsworth, the person who took the cameras down. He lied to me several times. I explained to them, which felt good to have that direct communication, how Terrell lied multiple times, and that I did not understand why he was there that day. They echoed what he said. They defended what he said, that they were trying something new that day, that they typically live stream, which is what Terrell said. They typically live stream. And I said, every college event. Well, they said, well, yeah, they live stream the events that are tour stops, but they don't live stream like the outside prove me wrong type events. And that was something that was new and it required Terrell. And I said, even if that was all real, if that was all true, I still didn't feel good about the conversation that I had with Terrell. And I can't ignore my gut about the many little lies that he told. I thought the video he recorded was weird. I know he comes from a very powerful family. I personally do not trust him. And I obviously do not like the fact that I said, Tyler Boyer lied about this thing and came up with an excuse and said, well, Terrell was asked to take the camera down. That's the reason, he said on Twitter, because the police wanted him to take it down and secure the footage. And I said, I know that's not true. And they said, well, after all of that, yeah, after he took the cameras down, there was a police officer or Fed, whoever it was, that spoke to him and asked him to secure the footage. Well, that makes sense, but it's not a reason for why he took it down immediately. It makes sense that as you're investigating, you're going to say, who's got the footage? Let's lock it down. But it didn't make sense to me that Tyler Boyer lied about it. And I don't trust Tyler Boyer. And that is never going to change. Similarly with Rob McCoy, he makes my skin crawl. I can't explain it. I look at him and he's a bad.
Yo, you know y'all are hilarious, man. I love the fact that y'all are going in on Candace Owens right now because, I cannot lie. For a long time, I thought Candace Owens was on her square. She seemed to do her research. She seemed to do her homework. She seemed to know what she was talking about, and Candace Owens is definitely successful on YouTube. She's definitely still at the top of the game as far as, political content creation, right-wing content creation, stuff like that. But what's hilarious? You know that you are losing your mind when you try to say, what is it? Is it the prime minister's wife of France? She's trying to say the prime minister of France, if I'm not mistaken. She's trying to say that, what's her name? Bridget Macron, if I'm not mistaken. She's trying to say that Bridget Macron was born a man. Now, if I'm not mistaken, right, Candace Owens is begging to be canceled. And this is what I try to tell people, yes, we have the ability to turn on our microphones to stream. We have the ability to bring information to the world. And we should do that. We should also bring credible information to the world. We should bring factual information to the world. Where are the facts? Where are the facts? You're going up against world government as a black woman? If the so-called powers that be did what they did to Charlie Kirk, what in the hell do you think that they will do with your black ass? You think that just because your husband is white, you're safe? Just because you have mixed children, you're safe? Folks, I just want to let you know that there's something called reckless disregard of the truth. Just because you say something and you say the word allegedly, it doesn't make you ineligible for being sued. You can still be sued and say the word allegedly in your sentences. If you're spreading false information, if you're spreading harmful information, you can still be sued for that. Just because you're saying the word allegedly in your monologues, in your sentences, it doesn't make you ineligible to be sued. I just want all of you content creators out there to know that. Candace Owens is a college educated woman. She seems to be well versed, well experienced in the world of journalism. But I just want all of you to know, all of you content creators that have microphones, just because you say the word allegedly after your sentences, allegedly in your monologues and your closing statements, it doesn't make you ineligible to be sued in a lawsuit. I just want you all to know that. Let's go.
Person, and nobody can make me feel one way or the other about that. I was surprised to learn, and this is kind of gets into, I guess, us not knowing the inner workings at Turning Point USA, that Rob McCoy actually does not work with Turning Point USA in any capacity whatsoever. And so him communicating as he has done, like, I'm the pastor, I'm this, I'm that, it's just not real. Like, that is not real. And we should know that that's not real. And when he says that, call him out on that separately from Turning Point USA. I was operating under the assumption that he worked for Turning Point USA. And I said, if obviously that's wrong, I'm happy to correct that. But also, what were we to assume when he hit the stage at the memorial and said, I'm America's pastor, and then had the Wikipedia updated and said, well, I'm assuming he had it updated because who else would do that, that he started Turning Point USA Faith. So I guess to be clear, we were just wrong about that. And I will have a lot more to say about Rob McCoy and where I believe he fits into a lot of things. So I'm not letting up on that. Now, one piece of this where I still don't understand it, and the magic bullet. Okay. Now we all recall what happened. I casually say on the show, hey, I saw the footage. There was no blood. And honestly, when I said it, I didn't process how big of a deal that was with the 30-06. Very quickly, what happens is Andrew Colvett whips up this tweet about what happened with the bullet, and he said he wanted to address all of the discussion that was being had about the online chatter. I'm obviously paraphrasing here. He says, I apologize. It's going to get graphic, but he spoke with the surgeon. The bullet should have gone through. The surgeon then explained that what he's typically seen on these wounds, and basically this was all a miracle. Charlie saved lives, even in death. And the internet clocked it, this miracle, the healthy bone. His bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive. Like, this is a quote, by the way. His bone was so healthy. I want to read it. This is allegedly from a surgeon. Quote, his bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him too. And we were just like, eek. That kind of was like the beginning of the WTF, right? I feel like that was kind of the beginning of it. And immediately people in the comments responded to Andrew, and he said, this individual said, this post is so fake as it would violate HIPAA. Like, there's patient privacy. You can't just call up the surgeon. And then Andrew Colvett replies and says, rest assured, I would not have posted without full permission. Now, he said...
Yeah. So here's the thing. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not a person that doesn't believe that conspiracy theory doesn't exist, that conspiracies don't happen, that they don't exist, that they haven't happened, that they are going to happen. Yes, I believe all of that. But when you have somebody like a Charlie Kirk and their assassination goes viral online, and it's going viral online for weeks and weeks at a time, and then you're having the funeral in Arizona. There's no possible way that you could say that's fake. And that's really a big problem today, is that we've gotten into a place where, we've gotten into a place of like science fiction. No one thinks anything is real anymore. And it's crazy and it's insane to me, especially if you are so-called journalists. Like, to me, that just invalidates your credibility immediately, 100%. This is a man who had children. This is a man who has a wife. This is a man who, I know a lot of people, don't believe in higher power. This is a man who was traveling the country, regardless of if you liked him or not. This is a man who was traveling the country spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. How can you not admire something like that? And again, I was not a big Charlie Kirk fan. I was not the biggest Charlie Kirk fan. I have an issue with a lot of things that he said, but we have the ability and we have the right to agree and to disagree with things that people say. But I can also respect the fact that he stood on his purpose, that he served for his people, that he believed in something enough to go out into the real world and challenge people on their principles, their morals, and on certain beliefs in the world. I can respect that. That's more than somebody like myself is going to do, because I'm sure as hell not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So to make up these falsehoods, the blood is fake, the bullet wasn't real, it was all an act. That's absolutely, it's absurd, it's embarrassing, and it's just ridiculous. And I hate to say it, but if I was Erika Kirk, I would have hit Candace Owens with a lawsuit so fast it would make her head spin. Ain't no sitting down. Ain't no trying to make friends, drink tea and have a Starbucks coffee and become friends and smooth. No, I would have hit her with a lawsuit that would have put her company out of business and her YouTube channel out of business so fast, it would have made her head spin. We have too many young people watching the internet, believing these ridiculous lies and this ridiculous propaganda. Absolutely not. And ladies and gentlemen, we're at 38 likes. We need 12 more likes to get to 50 likes. We need 12 more likes to get to 50 likes. And we need 5 more subscribers to get to 1,050 subscribers. Thank you all for being here with me this morning or evening. And guys, as you enter the chat, let me know where you're checking in from. Let me know if you're in the States. Let me know if you're checking in from Africa, from Canada, Australia, Great Britain, tea and crumpets. Let me know where you're checking in from. South America, Mexico, Russia, if they let us in Russia. Let us know where you're checking in from. All right. I'd like to know where y'all are checking in from. Let's go.
He spoke to the surgeon and they confirmed that Andrew spoke to the surgeon, but that they did not know that he was going to write that tweet. They did not know that he called up the surgeon. So like it very much came across to be like Andrew was just flying by the seat of his pants. I don't know. Like he was just flying dark on it. And I was like, that seems very strange to me because why would a surgeon do that? Like the first thing the surgeon should say is, I can't speak to you. I don't even know, in theory, Andrew wasn't even there when Charlie died. I don't even know why the surgeon even knows this guy, actually. Maybe he hung around after, but you know, Andrew was not one of the people that got into the hospital or anything like that. So this is quite literally the PR guy who's calling the surgeon. And so that just seems very inappropriate for a person to do, period. And I would say it was kind of the beginning, but that was what I got from that. Now, obviously, we discussed the security. I brought up Brian Harpole, this interview with Sean Ryan, and I think we can believe Turning Point when they say that they did not approve of this. They had no idea he was going on Sean Ryan. I think that's pretty clear. I don't believe he works there anymore. So that was kind of him just getting out there and perhaps trying to rescue his own reputation. And I think that only made his reputation worse, actually, because people rightfully sensed that he wasn't telling the truth in that interview, that he was being cagey, that he was saying things that didn't make any sense. Again, you constantly have these people that believe, like Brian Harpole, that with enough performance, he can sit down and you're just going to convince people that this is real. And this is just a different time. Like I said, these TikTokers are out of control. They will check you in 4 seconds. Okay.
There's a creative side hustle
we
almost
got a
nobody is
commercial
talking
break.
about, and it's not kind.
We got a commercial break. Sorry about that, y'all. We being a little bit bootleg tonight. But make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's go.
The biggest piece of this that I want to communicate, and that I did communicate to them, and I hope that they took me seriously on this, or rather that they take my strong advice on this. I said, one of the reasons why I really want to sit down is because I want to walk out of here and feel confident saying to my audience, hey, like there's stuff going on behind the scenes, but Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. Like that, more will come out, but you can take it from me that this is what happened. I was looking to achieve that because there's been a lot of signaling from various people, some people who are experts, some people who have been involved in cases, that there's obviously going to be stuff that the public does not have access to. And so it is at least plausible that they have seen very clear footage that we've been asking for of Tyler Robinson getting up there and taking the shot. Like they have access to UVU camera. So I was hoping to hear that. And I said that I want to hear why people feel so confident at Turning Point USA that Tyler Robinson is the guy. And at this point, they elected to call the lawyer, like, you know, their lawyer who is involved in this case, one of the lawyers that's involved in this case. There's always a team of lawyers, especially for something like this. And what I got from the lawyer did not make me feel that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. It did not make me feel confident that he didn't or did shoot Charlie Kirk. I was very surprised by this. He spoke a very long time. I asked, you know, can you share with me what it is? And I said, when you share this with me, I will not say what that thing is. that's what if we want to protect the integrity of the case. I'm not going to, if you say we've got the footage of him taking a shot, I promise I won't say that to the audience, but I will communicate to them that you have something that is solid. And no, to the exact contrary, this guy effectively said, not effectively, he said that they have nothing but the affidavit. Okay. So what you have, what we have seen is what they have. What is being discussed publicly, you are this whole non-expert problem with well, you don't know. It's like what you read, his messages that don't have any dates on it, Tyler Robinson writing out everything and the clean alibi. That's what they have. And what he explained to me was that that's the affidavit stage. That's where it's at. And then what takes place now is the investigation is ongoing, right? So right now they're looking for more information. And once investigators, they could very well have obviously footage. And that is why they might feel that, we're definitely gonna get this prosecution. But the reality is they don't actually share that information with the victim. They don't share that information with Erika. They don't, in this part of the process, they will not know what investigators have discovered. This is what the lawyer told me until May. Okay. They have not seen anything that you have not seen, is what I want you to know. So with that in mind, I'm sitting here going, why are you signaling? Why do I feel like the public's being gaslit on this? There's been nothing that's convincing. There are so many commentators who have gone out and said to you, it's overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming. The text messages that don't have a date, that don't even sound real, that's overwhelming. That to me feels really fake and gay. I really do want to say that to every commentator that is out there trying to tell the public and insisting that if you say it enough times it'll become real, you're actually just being dishonest. And I offered that a more honest way to communicate would be to say, we think he's involved. We feel strongly. I've said that. I think he's involved. We are very hopeful that throughout this investigation, we are going to get that concrete thing. And that's where we're at right now. That's just the stage that we are at. That is not what we are getting from them. That is I just feel like that's really important to let you guys know. Let the gaslighting stop. They have what you have. Okay. There is nothing else. They are in an investigative stage. Erika has been named as the victim. They will know more in this May hearing, which is the probable cause hearing. That's what the lawyer told me. It's a probable cause hearing. And that's when they will see the evidence. That's when they get to present the evidence, why they are going to stand there before a judge and be like, yes, we need to move this forward. It's not just an affidavit. We're not pulling together scraps. We have concrete evidence. Until then, okay, until we all get on the same page and understand what else they have, I am very confident stating the opposite of all of my, I guess, well-paid peers in that I don't believe that Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger. And what I also said to them was, and I said this.
Well, here's the thing. It's one thing that you don't believe that Tyler Robinson didn't pull the trigger, but how do you know that he didn't? And that's the problem with people like Candace Owens, with content creators like Candace Owens, with journalists like Candace Owens. If you don't believe Tyler Robinson didn't pull the trigger, fine. How do you know he didn't? And this is the absolute kind of asinine things that these people will say to try to get likes, clicks, views. And I'm not hating. Get your money. But a man lost his life. Children lost their father. A wife lost her husband. People in the community lost a beloved figure of their community. And that's the problem with that kind of dangerous rhetoric, is that you're showing disregard for the actual man himself. And I think Candace Owens is a pretty intelligent individual, but I cannot lie. She has definitely been off her rocker this last year. Even before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, she was off her rocker. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Everything that's real is fake, and everything that's fake is real. No, if you get held up by gunpoint and somebody robs you, somebody takes all your cash, that's real. That's not fake. That happened for real. We're not in some type of simulation where things allegedly happen. We're in the real world where real things happen. And if you ask, this is poor commentating. This is poor journalism. This is nothing more than clicks and views. If you ask me.
This in front of the lawyer, because I don't know why I'm like this. I was like, you might need a new lawyer. I was like, because this person's trying to sell to you that this is solid. One of the rules that me and my husband have is that if you have a lawyer that tells you like you're 100% going to win, it's very clear that you're going to win. You need a new lawyer. Okay, that's a cheerleader. That's not a lawyer. A lawyer, even if you should 100% win, should be telling you the risks here. You know, I feel good about this case. Like, let me talk real to you. I feel good about this case, but here's where things could go wrong. I want you to understand those risks that are involved. We don't have this yet. We don't have that yet. And especially given what I told them, which is your lawyers, or the investigators rather, not their lawyers, because they're not the ones investigating. It's the state of Utah that's investigating. They have not called the one solitary person, as I told you guys, who filmed as he was on the roof. Remember the guy that's like, oh, there's somebody on the roof, and he sees him crouched down. I said, I spoke to that person, and his testimony would be devastating to your prosecution. He saw the person on the roof. He filmed the person on the roof at 12:23 p.m. and he did not see that person take the shot. And this is not some random student. This is a guy who trains people to shoot guns at a range. He knows guns. Okay. He said what he saw was a smaller gun. He said that this person was dressed in black tactical gear and there was no recoil. That's devastating.
Hey, listen, as you guys come into the live chat, let me know where you're checking in from. Let me know if you're in America, Australia, the UK, Africa, South America. Guys, we need one more like to get to 50 likes. All right, hit that like button and hit the notification bell and the subscribe button.
That would be devastating to the prosecution. And yet investigators haven't reached out. Now they offered back, well, maybe they haven't reached out because they have an even clearer video. And that's true. That's actually a good rebuttal. They're like, we don't even have to talk to this guy because the video will speak for itself. And we saw what we saw. Okay, but wouldn't you still want to speak to the other guy so you could prepare? I don't know, to question him something. I don't like that this investigation is going on, and I feel as though I spoke to more people than they have. Both of the people who filmed videos that day told me that they weren't reached out to. So I don't understand what's happening here. I don't understand the confidence, I guess, is the best way to say this. I told them I do not understand the confidence that is happening. Now, another really big thing that happened was...
Okay, so we got the UK in the building. We got New Zealand in the building. We got Los Angeles in the building. We got Australia in the building, y'all. We are global. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. We're at 51 likes, y'all. We need to get to 75 likes, y'all. That's the new goal. We got to get to 75 likes, y'all. Appreciate y'all for being here.
They brought me Mikey's call logs, okay? They brought me Mikey's call logs, and that is why I said this was a productive meeting. There is no other way to say it. I asked every question, and they came with paperwork to show and to answer and to explain certain things. Also, which was, I thought, actually kind of sweet, that I guess I did on the previous show. I was like kind of looking at things into Mikey, and I couldn't find him. And someone said, I think Mikey's not his real name. They thought it was his middle name, actually. And I just assumed, okay, well, maybe he's using his middle name and that's why I can't find him. But Mikey really wants you guys to know that is his real name. And it is his real name. I found out shortly thereafter that they were confusing his middle name with, they thought it was switched. That Michael is his real name, just to clarify that, because I realized I actually didn't go back and clarify that. But Mikey's call logs, big piece of this, okay? I'm going to, I guess, jog your memory on what Blake said about Mikey that day, and then I'll tell you what actually happened, because I don't think Blake has that great of a memory. Okay, take a listen.
So I was not with Mikey, or I don't remember being with him. I think I was ahead of him as we left. And then we get out, and I run for, can't have been more than 15 or 20 seconds. And then I realized there hasn't been another shot, so the shooter has likely been detained or stopped or something, not in immediate danger. I pause, I look around me, and I see Mikey. And I see Mikey there. And I'll never truthfully, I will never forget what I saw, because I've seen Mikey almost every day for the past 2 years. I know his personality very well. He's a very bubbly guy. He's a very happy guy almost all of the time. And I'll never forget what I saw, because it was clear in the moment that he was profoundly freaked out. What I'll always remember is the way his lip was quivering, which I'd never seen before. And you very rarely see from someone that he was freaking out. And then I think he literally said to me, I might be imagining this, but I think what he literally said was, he was looking around, and then he says, I need to call Erika. And then he takes his phone and he begins calling Erika. And I don't want to disclose how that call unfolded, but he did that. This, your mind extends all of this, but that is happening within a minute of all of this occurring. I remember he calls Erika. Around the same time, I pull out my phone and I call my mom just to say, Mom, there's been a shooting. You're going to see it on the news. I'm okay. Pray for me. I've got to go. And I remember that call. And around the time I put that phone away, and then he immediately calls his dad. He calls Rob McCoy, and he says, Dad, someone shot Charlie. You need to call all of your pastor friends. Charlie was hit. We need everyone to pray right now. And that's what he told him.
Okay, so that's just not right. And so when he says, I might be imagining this, for I'll never forget, followed by I might be imagining this, probably means that maybe you forgot and you really could be imagining. Now, for me personally, I think the normal physiological response in these high adrenaline situations for most people is you lock in. They're literally your body, when it goes through something, when it's terrified and it's going through you are really paying attention to details. We've learned about this many times over in health class growing up. This is why they talk about that fight or flight response, and quite literally there's stuff happening to your body. And so there's a lot of details here that are just not accurate. And the one that surprised me the most about these call logs is I certainly feel that we were given the impression over and over and over again that the first person Mikey called was Erika, right?
Okay, so I just want to stop it right there really quickly. So I have a couple of clips. I want you guys to understand why Erika Kirk actually had a real problem with Candace Owens. Like I said, Charlie Kirk was assassinated in September, RIP, unfortunately. And ever since then, Candace has kind of been on a rampage to try to paint this conspiracy theory of, oh, this person assassinated Charlie, and oh, this person did it, and Israel is behind it, and this, and Donald Trump this, and this, and the right wing and the left wing did it, and Tyler Robinson didn't do it, and all of this kind of stuff. And yet she wasn't even fucking there. Just like I wasn't there. So how do you know who did what? You don't know. But really quickly, I want you guys to understand why Erika Kirk was frustrated with Candace Owens.
You want to keep telling me to come down while we're building? I don't have time.
Let's see here. Okay, so this is Erika Kirk. This is right after Charlie was assassinated. I don't know if it was The View, one of these TV shows. She went on and she made some statements, and Candace Owens did some commentating on that. Here we go.
You want to keep telling me to come down while we're building? I don't have time for that. But here's my breaking point on that. Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family... Hold up. Let's see here, hold on.
Was that the right one? Hold on.
One moment, Charlie was doing what he loved.
Okay. All right. Sorry, y'all. I got it mixed up. Hold on. All right. Let's play this in order. Okay. So this was right after Charlie was assassinated. All right. So this is Erika Kirk giving part of her eulogy at Charlie Kirk's memorial service in September of this year. So pay attention to Candace Owens' energy, how she was at this particular point. All right. And I know it looks a little bit weird on the screen. I'm doing this a little bit bootleg, y'all. So I apologize. All right, here we go.
One moment, Charlie was doing what he loved, arguing and debating on campus, fighting for the gospel. in front of a big crowd, and then he blinked. He blinked and saw his Savior in paradise. And all the heavenly mysteries were revealed to him.
I mean, that it's just beautiful to really think about that, that he just blinked and then he was with the Lord. And it is just a fact that, I mean, Charlie just loved the Lord. It was constantly, like I told you, going through the conversations and how much he would just say, I need to pray about it. I need to pray about it. I need to pray about it, wanting to marry Erika. First thing he said, which I think I showed you guys last week. And Erika is correct. It is important to remember that message of forgiveness that we have within ourselves. And it sometimes feels very hard to do that, but we are called upon to forgive people, to forgive our enemies, even in moments that it seems impossible or extraordinary to do so. But it is also important, it's not really a but I want to assert that it is also important to remember that what Christ is, as I said at the top of this show, is truth, right? Christ is truth. And we are not getting the truth right now of what happened to Charlie Kirk on 9/10. And to be very clear, I am going to need it. I demand it.
One moment, Charlie was doing what he loved, arguing and debating on campus, fighting for the gospel and truth in front of a big crowd, and then he blinked. He blinked and saw his Savior in paradise. And all the heavenly mysteries were revealed to him.
I mean, that it's just beautiful to really think about that, that he just blinked and then he was with the Lord. And it is just a fact that, I mean, Charlie just loved the Lord. It was constantly, like I told you, going through the conversations and how much he would just say, I need to pray about it. I need to pray about it. I need to pray about it, wanting to marry Erika. First thing he said, which I think I showed you guys last week. And Erika is correct. It is important to remember that message of forgiveness that we have within ourselves. And it sometimes feels very hard to do that, but we are called upon to forgive people, to forgive our enemies, even in moments that it seems impossible or extraordinary to do so. But it is also important, it's not really a but I want to assert that it is also important to remember that what Christ is, as I said at the top of this show, is truth, right? Christ is truth. And we are not getting the truth right now of what happened to Charlie Kirk on 9/10. And to be very clear, I am going to need it. I demand it.
One moment.
Okay. So that was Candace Owens' energy right after Charlie Kirk was assassinated in September of this year. Fast forward a few months, as we can see, the energy has completely changed. And this is why, and this is when Erika Kirk starts to voice her frustration. She didn't say any names in this particular clip, but for most of us who are in the loop, you can't deny that Candace Owens has definitely been probably the most vocal person behind all of these conspiracy theories when it comes to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And this is Erika Kirk voicing her frustration about all of the commentary about what's been going on with Charlie after his unfortunate death.
You want to keep telling me to come down while we're building? I don't have time for that. But here's my breaking point on that. Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode, going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
I'm sorry, but that whole thing right there is frustrating The idea that she does not have time. She's done Hannity, she's done The Five, she's done Fox and Friends, she's done Outnumbered, she's done Megyn Kelly Live, she sat down with the New York Times, she made time to fly to DC for Sergio Gore to be sworn into the ambassador to India. She has also made time for an upcoming CBS News town hall sit down with Barry Weiss, which was filmed today. So Erika Kirk has time. It is not her priority to respond to the majority, to that point that people are making hundreds and thousands of dollars. Like, they made $40 million like 2 nights ago at Mar-a-Lago. Maybe that feels kind of a little bit like let them eat cake-ish. And we've made more than, separately from Mar-a-Lago, Turning Point USA, since Charlie was killed, just so you guys know, this is a fact, has made more than $100 million. That is separate from the $40 million they made at Mar-a-Lago the other night. I want to be clear that Turning Point USA is my family. The Charlie Kirk Show is my family. She's just expanding the wings of people that we're not allowed to critique. Oh, I'm sorry. We actually are showing a clip of Rob McCoy defending a pedophile or trying to launder the reputation of that's fam. I'm sorry. We are actually pointing to the fact that we know for certain that this person or organization is sexual deviant. That's fam. That is my, don't you get me upset. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to be very clear here. This is why there are many people who do not believe that women are equipped to lead companies, because what you are watching here is an unbelievably emotional response that is absent of any logic. Okay. If you really care about your team, answer the questions so people don't think Turning Point USA looks so suspicious. Don't try to mom the organization and say, well, mother's upset because people are coming after her kids and all of this multi-million dollar subsidiaries. That's my children. Okay. The multi-million dollar subsidiaries, Turning Point, like Turning Point Action, all that, those are my kids. So you can't critique them. Not a good idea.
You want to keep.
Yeah. So basically in that clip, what Candace Owens is saying, and what Candace Owens was trying to point out about Erika Kirk was, you have all of these people making comments, giving their commentary, making content about Charlie Kirk. But all of a sudden, when Candace Owens when I do it, it's a problem. When I keep, bringing up all of these theories and I keep bringing information forward, it's a problem. But when this person does it over here, that's a PDF file, that's a proven PDF file, it's a problem. When this person does it over here, it's a problem. But when Candace Owens do it, when they do it, it's not a problem. But when I do it, when Candace Owens does it, it's a problem. So that's what basically Candace was saying in this clip was, you went on this talk show, you've done this, you've made time to go here, you've made time to go there. But I've been calling you out, Erika, and you have been avoiding the questions. You have been avoiding the theories. You have been avoiding the things that I have been saying. But all of a sudden you find time to address everybody else, but you don't want to address me. So basically that's what's been going on between Erika and Candace. Basically like the last 4 months is, a bunch of jabs left and right. Erika might say something backhanded. Candace says something backhanded. It's alleged that Charlie and Candace had an affair going on. Charlie was smashing Candace behind Erika's back. Erika knew about Charlie and Candace sleeping together. Like, all of these are rumors. All of these, all of this is propaganda, to keep the situation in the headlight, to keep Turning Point USA afloat. And I can't even lie. Is it messy? Hell yeah. Absolutely. Is it messy? Hell yeah. It's absolutely messy. Is it working? Absolutely. Is the messiness and the drama working? Absolutely. Is this something that Charlie Kirk probably would have wanted? It's probably not something that Charlie Kirk would want to see. We all know that Charlie and Candace were good friends. Okay, there's clips circulating on TikTok and Instagram of Candace and Charlie, in a vehicle, you know, singing songs together, rapping songs together, hanging out together in close proximity. But these are just rumors. These are just rumors. You know, so that's what's going on. That's these two clips that I just showed you is the basis of what's going on. But let's get back to the interview here, man. We need 10 more likes, y'all. We at 65 likes. We got to get to 75 likes. I appreciate y'all for being here. Let's go.
He called Erika. We were told this by many people also that he trained like he almost like went to a camp and trained, and Charlie was like 1, 2, 3 go, and like fast 1, 2, 3 go. That's why he walked away. 1, 2, 3 go, and just told him this is what the first thing you do is. Well, he didn't do that. Actually, the first person he called was his wife. He called Elizabeth McCoy, and then he stayed on the phone with his wife for 10 minutes. And during those 10 minutes, he three-wayed Erika 3 minutes after the shot went off. And then he three-ways his father, and then he three-ways a third person who I am not interested in mentioning because it's not relevant. This is Danny McCoy, by the way, is his brother that's in the military, but that's before the shot goes off. Charlie Kirk shot goes off. You know, I have that in detail. Charlie's brought to security. Mikey McCoy calls his wife. They will stay on the phone for 10 minutes. Okay. In that same minute, because we know this because Blake Neff has given us his call log to his mother. Blake Neff called his mom. His call with his mother lasted 45 seconds. So we're assuming it went to 12:25. It very well could have stayed in 12:24, depending on the millisecond. Blake Neff ends that phone call with his mother. Mikey McCoy, after the phone call with his mother ends, adds Erika to the phone. Okay, so that when he was recapping and he's like, oh, his lips quivering and he's like, I got to call Erika. And he's like, and then I called my mom. That's not right. That's just not right. Okay, Mikey called Erika after Blake Neff ended that phone call with his mother. If call logs are to be believed above, human testimony. Mikey McCoy then drops Erika from the phone call 2 minutes later, and then he adds his father to the phone call. Again, he is this entire time on the phone with his wife. Okay. And then Mikey McCoy ends his phone call with his father. He does call another person who I'm not mentioning because it's just not relevant to anything, not a character in the story rather. And then he ends the phone call with his wife. And a minute later, his brother calls him back and they stay on the phone for 10 minutes. I did not get this from everybody speaking about this Mikey McCoy call log. I know that you guys did not get this. I did not get this. I don't know why she was disappeared from this. Like you could go, look, the wife wants privacy. No, she was like, main stage at the memorial, has been, I would say very involved in a lot of this kind of, I think it's very close that she's close with Erika. They went on the vacation together. So I don't get this disappearing act. I found that to be like, okay, but they were forthcoming with it. That feels good. That feels good, guys. Like, wow, we don't have to guess. Now we have solid answers. And like I said, when you come out and give solid answers and you're not weird and calling people names and saying all this stuff, it allows people to go, okay, I feel a bit more like we can trust this process because we have communication. That's the reality. And so I wanted to update you with that. Also, another thing that really, I think, surprised them and I think surprised me is getting back to this Hamptons retreat. The thing about the Hamptons retreat, and I communicated this with them, that makes me so uncomfortable is how many little lies were told. I think I've been clear about that. Like Seth Dillon definitively pressed Charlie at this event. Now, whether it was in a hypothetical, which it was in a hypothetical, but he got fired up in the hypothetical of Charlie discussing potentially tweeting something against Bibi Netanyahu, it did lead to this firecracker moment. Again, this is one of those things where I go, why am I always being hung out to dry for telling people the truth? Especially when I wasn't going, oh, well, Seth Dillon killed Charlie Kirk. I just, this happened. It factually happened. And yet everybody's kind of putting out these weird statements and they're not being honest in them. And I was saying to them, that made me feel really weird. And I would love to know more about this Bibi Netanyahu offer to fund Turning Point to the next level. At which point Erika said she was not aware of that happening. It is obviously totally possible that that was kept in the business lane of Turning Point USA. But I'm certain, I said, I am absolutely certain that I did not get this from an obscure source, that BB offered to fund Turning Point to the next level. And it was part of my frustration with that sit down with Alex Clark, where Andrew said, oh, there was not $150 million that's made up. You know, I told them, Andrew Kovet was my source. Andrew Kovet told me verbatim that Bibi Netanyahu offered to take Turning Point to the next level and that Charlie turned that money down. So I said there's a bit of a predicament when I'm being like lambasted by all of these voices and people that are attacking me and these paid campaigns. And when I say paid, yes, okay, actually have the names of people. Different ways they're being paid. Some are being paid by PR firms. Too many are being paid by Prager University, which is upsetting to me because I know Marissa and it's just dirty. But it's especially crazy when people are calling it a conspiracy when I share things that are told to me from the spokesperson of Turning Point USA. Okay, that's weird. And yes, they were forthcoming. Nobody's ever denied this, so this was not on our list of lies about.
Well, see, here's the thing, Candace, right? And this is for people in general. Doesn't matter if it's coming from somebody inside Turning Point USA. It doesn't matter if information is coming from the top of the chain at Turning Point USA. It could still not be the truth. It could be a lie. It could be a half truth. It could be just information to throw you off of what's really going on. And that's the funny thing about Candace. Candace really thinks that she could change the world just because she's bringing this information to the forefront. I sat there with the day that Charlie Kirk got assassinated, you know, and I'm seeing it on Twitter, which is now X. I'm seeing it on Facebook. I tried my damnedest not to watch that clip. All of a sudden, I log on Instagram one day and it's the first clip that I see. And I'm just like, damn. They even tried to assassinate the president of the United States literally a little over a year ago. Candace, it doesn't matter what type of information you bring to the forefront. You can't stop anything. And clearly you can't do anything. So the funny thing about Candace is because she can't do anything, she just spews misinformation, she spews lies, she spews dangerous rhetoric as if a real person didn't lose their life. You know, she's no better than she's no better, like, you know, and I give Candace her credit. Like I said, she's a great researcher. I think she's she's very smart. I think she's very intelligent, but it's like, come on. Where do you draw the line when it comes to these conspiracies? Just because somebody tells you something, it doesn't mean that it's true. Especially when you're dealing with an organization like Turning Point or any one of these right-wing organizations or even left-wing. And this is where us, the people of the world, you have to just pay attention to things with your own eyes. Stop believing everything that everybody tells you. Have a mind of your own. Believe half of what you see and even less of what you hear. Don't even believe half of what you see. Believe a quarter of what you see and a quarter of what you hear. From these content creators, these, you know, the ABCs, the CNN, the Fox Newses, you know. I know a lot of people like to think that ABC and CNN and NBC. Do you guys know back before, you know, AI, you know, when I would do content creating and things like that, do you guys net out articles so that, you know, when I used to go online, I used to actually read off of the article, right? Because you have to print these things out, because if an article comes out if news comes out at 2 p.m., right? Do you guys know by 7 p.m. that article can change or that article could be deleted offline completely? You guys know I used to read literally. I used to hold the paper. I used to print the papers and hold them in my hands and read them. But while I'm trying to research information online at the same time, you guys know that a lot of those news articles would be changed or deleted within 4 to 5 hours after they were published. So that's why I try to tell people, just because it's mainstream news doesn't mean that everything that they tell you is factual. Doesn't mean that information cannot change. It doesn't mean that information won't be retracted completely. So this is why we have to be objective and not be subjective and fall victim to everything that everybody tells you, even if it's your own mother or father, because oftentimes it just simply might not be true. And guys, we're at 77 likes, okay? Can we get to 100 likes? Can we get to 100 likes? Can we get 23 more likes? Can we get to 100 likes? Let's go.
About the fact that Bibi Netanyahu did call him. Okay, that did happen. Bibi shared that, by the way. Our source for that could have just as well been Bibi Netanyahu. And not a lot of clarity on, I don't know, why some people think he didn't make this offer, and why definitively 3 different sources who would have knowledge of this confirmed to me that Bibi Netanyahu did indeed make this offer. I never said $150 million ever, not once on the show. I wouldn't have even said that, by the way. If you said take Turning Point to the next level, I actually would have assumed it was more, if I'm being honest. That's a hefty offer, and it leads to a lot of questions. So there was not a lot of clarity there. Lastly, I want to add, of course, I was locked in this meeting when people online were another round of debunking the Egyptian planes. I want to be very clear. We discussed the Egyptian planes, and I have since worked on an incredible document about the Egyptian planes, which we are going to put up on our website, because I realized that when we shared that spreadsheet, people assumed that one of the columns, which was actually saying where the planes landed on that day, because it was plus or minus 3 days, was exactly where Erika had been on that day, and that was inaccurate. And so for clarity, I had been working on the last week on turning it into an interactive timeline that we can put up on our website, because I am certain that these Egyptian planes are incredibly shady, and that they were in fact tracking Turning Point USA, Faith, broader events. Of course, Erika was at some of them, Charlie was at some of them, but it is the pattern here is undeniable. So let the naysayers and people make videos trying to, 5th round debunk these planes. I also want to say to you that I feel very confident that I know why these planes have caused such panic. And it is because there is overwhelming evidence that these planes regularly fly in and out of Israel. And I'm going to present that evidence tomorrow. I say that strongly. This is I feel very confident saying these Egyptian planes are flying in and out. And notice I'm saying planes, because once I was able to connect people that were on those planes onto other Egyptian planes, I was able to realize that these planes are flying in and out of Israel and turning their...
Candace, no one cares. Candace, no one cares about the planes flying in and out of Israel. You're the only one that cares. You can't stop any of those planes. Shout out to my guy, Nature Boy, in the building. Glad to see you here. No one cares, Candace. No one cares about the planes flying in and out of Israel. No one cares, literally.
Their transponder off each time that they do it. That is now makes perfect sense of why there was this mass panic, right? It's not exactly like we have a strong Egyptian lobby in the United States. Not like we're like, whoa, well, those darn Egyptians again are trying to get TikTok censored. I mean, every person in the game, Barry, acting. Well, these are the usual suspects that act if something is a threat to Israel, okay? Which is, they should have just been forthcoming, pretended that it was changing apart. Instead, they're trying to gaslight us, and they're actually, frankly, just pissing me off. So I became locked in on these Egyptian planes, because that's how I am, okay? You keep pushing me and keep pushing me, I will become an expert on these planes. I'll learn how to build an Egyptian plane. And the reality is, like I said, tomorrow I will show you how these planes tie back to Israel. And there's no disproving this. So
again, Candace. See, this is Candace is a prime example of why men are like, yo, some women just need to shut the fuck up. Candace is way too good looking of a woman to be up here talking about this bullshit. Like, Candace, like, what the hell are you talking about? You building Egyptian planes? And this is my first time listening to this, right? I listened to like the first 20 minutes of this before we got started. But this is my first time officially listening to this with you guys live online right now. Candace, what the hell are you talking about, you building an Egyptian plane? Don't you have kids to raise? You're not going to build no goddamn plane, Candace. What the? Candace, you are too good looking of a woman to just be up here spewing this bullshit. What the hell are you talking about? How is your husband even letting you get up here and say this nonsense stuff? Somebody says, stop obsessing over Candace. I don't give a damn about Candace. I got a lady. I don't give a damn about Candace at all, y'all. We're at 81 likes. Can we get to 100 likes? We need 19 more likes, y'all. We need 19 more likes, y'all. Can we get to 100 likes? We need 19 more likes, y'all. We're at 1,068 subscribers, y'all. Can we get to 1,075 subscribers, y'all? Can we get to 1,075 subscribers, y'all? We're at 1,068 subscribers, y'all. And as y'all come into the live chat, let me know where in the world you guys are checking in. Somebody says they're from Cambodia. Somebody says they're from Cambodia in the chat. I was romantically involved with a Cambodian woman one time. And boy, let me tell you. Actually, I won't tell you. But listen, we're at 1,068 subscribers. Can we get to 1,075 subscribers? And can we get to 100 likes? Can we get 12 more likes, ladies and gentlemen?
More on that later. We'll be right back after throwing into some of our sponsors.
Are you worried?
Okay, so it looks like we have a quick commercial break here. All right. Let's see.
Know that we have to double down on supporting life. Through our partnership with Preborn, we can help save babies and support mothers that are in need. Every day, Preborn's clinics rescue hundreds of babies because when a mother sees her baby on an ultrasound and hears that tiny heartbeat, her chance at choosing life doubles. And now, thanks to a generous match program, your gift will also be doubled. That means twice as many ultrasounds, twice as many lives saved, and twice as many mothers that are given hope. They're also provided with diapers, car seats, counseling, and care for up to 2 years. If you've heard of
Somebody says in the chat they want to hear about the story with the Cambodian. You know what's funny is, when I was messing with this Cambodian chick one time, it's funny because, I'm not friends with this person, right?
guys about PDS
Hold on one
debts,
second.
because whether you are struggling with credit cards,
I'm not friends with her on Facebook, but she came across my people you may know timeline the other day. I'll tell you guys about it in 1 second. Hold on. Or I'll tell you guys as much as I can about it. Hold on 1 second here.
which is in your thousands of, because PDS, you wait. The second, get your fret.Candace. Watch my quote unquote rumble up into real live stream models, part store ones, and click free speed fighting what's a letter just to join us live. And I will correct that, and we'll be sure to thought it was Danny McCoy. So a couple of things that I want to say. First and foremost, and join us there. I'll see you there.
Yeah. So what's funny is, when I was romantically involved with that chick, she was like, she was wild. She was wild, man. She was like outrageously wild. But it's funny because she actually came across my timeline on Facebook a few weeks ago, and I'm like, this person looks familiar, right? Tell me why on her profile picture she has a hijab. She has a hijab on. Now, when I knew her, she was believing in Buddha and all of this kind of stuff. but she had a hijab. So it's just funny to me. And she's moved to the east. I'm on the West Coast, by the way. You know, I'm actually in Charlie Kirk land. I'm actually in State 48. I actually live in the state that Charlie Kirk had his services, his memorial services in. So it's funny, you know, I'm seeing her and I'm like, you know, I'm like, she looks familiar, and I'm seeing her and it's saying that she lives in the East Coast now and she has on the hijabs, you know, so she looks like a Muslim woman, and, you know, and I'm like, yo, whoever the dude is that got her, I don't know. She's a completely changed woman now. So the only thing I'm going to say, because I want to try to keep this live as PG-13 as possible, is Cambodian women are wild. Asian women in general are wild. I've definitely had my experiences with Asians, for sure. Asian women in particular, for sure. You know, all women, you know, they have their beauties and, you know, their critiques and their own, you know, what makes them special. They all have their things, but Cambodian in general is, I'll just say it was different. You know, I'll just leave it PG-13. I'll just leave it PG-13, and I'll leave you guys to think about everything that I'm saying without saying it. Okay? We need 5 more likes.
Okay, so a couple of things I want to say. First and foremost, I just got a live update that I thought it was Danny McCoy on the call log. I should totally correct that, and I will correct that, and we'll be sure to trim it in post here. But it is not Danny McCoy. It is Danny, another one of Charlie's assistants. So I will correct that. Please correct that if you're going to make videos. Not Danny McCoy that called him and then called him after. That is another assistant of Charlie's. So we want to be accurate. I don't know why I assumed it was Danny McCoy in my head. I may have done that. Okay, another thing. You guys may have been noticing that we are getting into this weird space where they seem to be almost writing like Candace Owens fan fiction. I can't even reply to things, and a lot of you sense that this was because we were getting close. I agree. I fully agree that these attacks, which have grown hysterical, like I can't even begin to tell you the conversations between me and my PR person. I'm like, there's nothing to respond to. I mean, there's not even one sentence of this that is true. Case in point, by the way, New York Post does this article today. We were actually laughing, okay? Like, inside Candace Owens' sadistic and dangerous world, monetizing baseless conspiracies. This is after, by the way, they changed my husband's Wikipedia and said that he was a Qatari, like he had a Qatari passport or citizenship. I don't think my husband's ever even flown over Qatar. I could be wrong, but I don't think I know he's never been to Qatar.
For the record, anybody can change a Wikipedia page. It's not some type of Illuminati secret conspiracy. Okay. Anybody can, any random citizen that has the internet, any person in the world that knows how to access a Wikipedia page can actually change information. So I just want to correct that, because when you listen to these guys like the Candace Owens and the Myron Gaines, you know, which Myron Gaines is a loser. But anyway, that's a whole different story. When you listen, you think everything is just a conspiracy. Anybody can change anything on Wikipedia, just so you know. Let's go.
I don't think he's ever flown over Qatar, and they're just making it up, and then they make it trend no matter what it is. And I'm like, this is happening. It's like a psychological operation, because they're trying to keep us constantly responding as opposed to focusing on our investigation, which is why I spent this weekend and I just kept down on the Egyptian planes, because it's completely crazy. And when you see a media storm like this, it can only be happening because Zionists are locking arms and going attack, because they by and large control the media. They just do. Okay. One way or the other, Zionists control the empire medias, and they are scared about something in this investigation. We've noticed that from the very beginning. So they wrote in this article, the New York Post, just to give you an example of how insane this is. They said they had an inside source that told them that while I was at the Daily Wire, I just fought with people from the very source that in my first week, I threw my car keys at a producer and expected them to park my car. That sentence genuinely made me laugh so hard, because I never once in the entire time that I worked for the Daily Wire did I ever drive my car to work. Okay. I just didn't. They had a driver that took me there. So I don't know why I would suddenly take the driver's keys and then throw it at somebody. But quite literally, I never drove the Daily Wire. So it's just when I say fan fiction, I'm like, this is fan fiction. Secondly, they say I did that to a producer and that I conducted, demanded others do my research. Could not be further from the truth. I have always done my own shows. I can't read a script. I riff my shows. I think that's pretty obvious. That I demanded a huge studio, attempted to use their PR firm to get the cover of People magazine, like full fan fiction. There's not even a shred. I don't even think we ever had a conversation about People magazine because that would not be a normal outlet for any conservatives. That I wanted to be on the cover of People is insane. And they said that their sources also said that like my team hated me. My team came with me when I got fired. My whole team's here. So I was just going, okay, what is happening here? Why are we talking about Qatar? Why are they making these things up? And I have come to the same conclusion as you. It is because we are dangerously close to something. I think we have to keep pushing on the Huachuca Air Base, which we are doing. And tomorrow we are going to get back into the investigation. We're just going to ignore the noise because, as I have said, and as I have maintained, I believe that Charlie was betrayed by people that are close to him. And I asked that question in the meeting. I'm like, okay, if we can agree that everyone around, I was like, I know there are people at Turning Point, they're not good people, right? And it's feasible that people, if they have addictions, that they, you can definitively get yourself in a scenario where you are willing to sell somebody out. This is a massive organization. How can we so confidently state that nobody had anything to do here, to do with anything here? And I think.
So this is what I want to say, right? In all seriousness, right? Even myself as a content creator, right? I don't consider myself a political content creator or commentator, although a lot of my content is centered around politics, news, things of that nature. If anything, if the Charlie, whether you liked Charlie Kirk or not, if anything was to be learned from the unfortunate assassination of Charlie Kirk, it's to be careful with what you say. It's to be careful with what you say. Even if you are, quote unquote, telling the truth. Because anything you say and everything you say has a consequence for being said. And obviously, I've said this multiple times throughout the stream. I am not the biggest Charlie Kirk fan. I was never the biggest Charlie Kirk fan, but I can respect a guy or any person that is willing to stand on their morals, stand on their values, that is willing to go into the general public and challenge the basis of societal norms, societal beliefs, and, who was trying to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, if that's what, you believe in. I can respect that because a lot of content creators are not going to do that. They're not going to go out here and actually talk to young people. They're not going to go out here and challenge young people. They're not going to inspire young people to have families, to do better in life. They're not going to inspire young people to say, hey, there's more than just the Democrat. There's more than just being liberal. And that's what Charlie Kirk did. And he did it damn well, in my personal opinion. And I can say this objectively, despite not being a Charlie Kirk fan. Because I'm not emotional about it. And that's the problem that we have today. Everybody's just too subjective. Nobody wants to give credit where credit is due. You know, the fact that we have trans ideology running so rampant today in the United States. Charlie was one of the front runners that I saw consistently and constantly challenging that narrative and saying, hey, you're not trans. You have psychological problems that you need to deal with. You need to seek counseling. You need to come off. You need to stop taking that medicine. Stop taking that medicine that's messing up your brain, and you need to go into counseling. You need to talk to someone. You need to learn how to love yourself. You need to figure yourself out. It's the medicine. It's the hormones that you're taking that's messing you up. He was one of the main people on the front lines challenging this ridiculous narrative when it comes to trans ideology. I saw it on college campus. And we all know, and I've been to college myself, I'm a college educated man, but these children, if you're going to go to college, it's cool. If you're going to go to college, learn how to network. Okay, you can party, have fun, sleep with girls, all of that kind of stuff. Learn how to network, because I can assure you what comes after college is real life and bills and responsibility. This is what Charlie Kirk was trying to tell the young people. I have a daughter that's in college right now. I have my daughter and my young brother go to the same university right now, where all of these young people have pink and blue hair, red hair, purple hair. They have all of these things. Are they learning? Are they learning anything? I don't think they're learning anything. I think they're just going to graduate, and I think they're going to be in a heap of student debt. That's what I think. Charlie Kirk was one of the most consistent people that I saw trying to tell these young people, hey, if you're going to go to college, be there for the experience. These college campuses aren't teaching our young people anything. If you're not taking the initiative to self-educate yourself while you're in college, you're not learning anything. All these young people do is they go and sit. I know because I did it. They go and sit in these classes. The professor has the lecture, has the lesson already planned. They're gonna lecture you, and then they're gonna send you out into the world to do your own assignment. College is literally self-education. This is why a lot of people drop out of college, because they expect someone to do the work for them. People think professors are actually teachers. Professors are not teachers. Professors are researchers paid to research information and present it in a classroom to students. They don't teach you anything. They present research. And Candace is not actually, she's not talking about anything real. She's not talking about anything real. She isn't. I've been listening to her now for almost an hour. We're gonna be done here shortly, y'all. You guys. We're at 104 likes. Can we get to 125 likes? Can we get 20 more likes, y'all? We're at 105 likes, y'all. Can we get 4 more subscribers, y'all? Ladies and gentlemen, we're at 1,071 subscribers. Can we get 4 more subscribers to get us to 1,075? Appreciate you all for being here. And let me know. Somebody said my take. Okay, I mean, you could disagree. If my take is a bad take, you could disagree. That's the beautiful thing about having a live stream chat. You can disagree with me in real time in the chat. If you think my take is a bad take, oh well. But my take is my take. Just because you think that my take is a bad take It's not going to make me change my mind. Let's go.
That one of the things that Erika was like, well, I'm not like a feminist, and I didn't want the vibe of that, which I think it did come across like a bit of a feminist, to say like, this is all my family. I'm like, how could this all be your family? I know people in this family and they're not good people. I wouldn't even do that with my own family. Okay. I got people in my family, like we all do, you know, who aren't exactly walking a straight arrow in life. And yeah, so I've communicated that. I have not changed my position on that. I am not going to stop researching the characters in this that I don't feel good about. But further to sort of them just creating and making things up, Tim Pool has now gone out and extraordinarily claimed that I have the same security as Charlie Kirk, and that I'm a fraud, and that actually I have the exact same security. You will recall that Tim just said a week ago that I have no security. Okay, this is Tim Pool a week ago.
She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you told me? She has no security. She doesn't deal with the we have to deal with. She's a piece of
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh, yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give two No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a about her security.
So that was like Tim last Monday. This is Tim who said I had no security except for one fat guy, which I told you was not true. Now he's saying this. Take a listen.
Okay, I'll say things that I probably shouldn't say, but I'm going to say, 'cause I always get super heated on this. Candace Owens has the same security team as Turning Point and Charlie Kirk did. She's lying. She has the same security people. I've been digging into this. I've been meeting with people and talking with them, and I shouldn't say too much because there's more that's going to be coming out soon, because rest assured, people are filing legal paperwork against her. Candace has the same security team, or has used the same security companies and the same security personnel as Charlie and Erika did. So when she comes out and is questioning them, she is lying outright. Now, I've invited many of these people to come on. We'll see what happens. We'll see when they can. The issue is, the moment Candace goes on her show to millions of people and lies, litigation begins. And what happens when litigation begins? People don't do interviews about it. She is exploiting this, and she knows she is, to keep people wrapped up in this insanity.
Tim versus Tim, undefeated. And what I will also say is that's all a lie. It's almost like they have just sent a call, like they're getting too close, and just said, I don't care what you write. I don't care if it's complete fiction. Make it believable. Say her husband beats her. Say her, like it's coming after my husband. They're coming after me, and they're making stuff up. I have never employed the same security team as Charlie Kirk, ever. We went our separate ways early. Actually, there was it's obviously been publicized before he had Schaefer Security, and Schaefer Security, which was run by Greg Schaefer, who has issued a public statement. They had Dan Flood and Brian Harpool working for them initially. I told Charlie I did not like the security apparatus. I got my own security separate from Charlie from the very beginning. Okay, that's a fact. It just is a fact. There's no way to undo that fact. Trying to do this strategy of you're going to get sued, it's just threatening somebody. If there was any truth to that, you can't just file legal paperwork. You have to send a cease and desist. You have to say, something you said on your show was untrue. Can you please correct this? Okay. And if I ignore that, as I did with Brigitte, because I told the truth, as I did with Kim Clasey, because I told the truth, then you have the grounds to file something. We have received no cease and desist from Charlie's Security whatsoever. Over what? I mean, the audacity that you're filing a lawsuit and someone got murdered on your watch. Because I accurately said that the Brian Harpool, the message he showed belonged to Dan Flood. It did. And that they didn't do a walkthrough on that day. They didn't. And if something I'm getting wrong and you'd like to show me that actually you did, send it over. We're only interested in getting to the truth. And we're not getting it. We're certainly not expecting to get it from Tim Pool. That is crazy. That's just crazy town. But I do think that is right now the Zionist strategy. And that's why I want to encourage you guys to stay focused. Huachuca, which we're going to have a lot on tomorrow, because there is something there. And I think that caused a panic, as well as the Egyptian planes, which I am telling you go back, relate to Israel. And I will be able to prove that tomorrow for all of the naysayers. And again, it's only because this is how they act. If they always overreact, and then it lets us know that we are close. They are like an alarm. They are just an alarm. Something else that I wanted to show you, by the way, I thought we were not supposed to be doing live streams while we were speaking, but Turning Point, I guess, has their daily show, but that I didn't feel like that was communicated to me. It felt like a ceasefire and then it got violated, but they had an interesting conversation on their show yesterday, on the Charlie Kirk show, about this trial, the upcoming trial, about Tyler Robinson. And here is what they had to say. Take a listen.
So this is straight from the charging document. It says Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a, quote, stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. And when you see how easy that rooftop access is, you start to kind of put one and one together, and you realize that Robinson had a plan that he was going to ultimately take advantage of. And he obviously knew how easy it was to get up to that rooftop, which is terrifying.
It really is. And look, one of the other things that's being pushed around for a long time was that, TPUSA, both the local chapter and you guys, didn't advertise this event till a couple days prior to. Now, the insinuation there is that doesn't give Tyler enough time to plan for this. And what we found out with a little bit of, 20, not even 5 minutes of Googling and looking. Yeah. Look, you guys had already put out on your website as early as August 27th. So we have at least almost a full 2 weeks prior to this, that not only the time of the event, but the location, the exact location of the UVU courtyard. So when you have over 10 days of planning, and it sounds like that Tyler already was familiar with the campus to begin with, like a lot of the mystery of this starts to go out the window, and it starts to really conform with what is exactly being proposed by the state of Utah and the FBI in the charging documents.
Yeah, and we can attest, Andrew Cipher, who's our head of field, Charlie sometimes throw the events out, 7-10 days in advance. If something opened up in his schedule, he would be able to do these outdoor events, a pretty quick turn. And so those whole that whole theory kind of goes out the window.
So unless I am mistaken, and I am not perfect, but I do feel like we worked really hard to see when this location was first revealed. The first time that we found that the courtyard was mentioned, because Charlie's speaking at events, so your assumption would be they're inside.
Somebody said in the chat, Biden 2028. What the hell? What the hell are you smoking? Biden 2028? What? That man can barely stay awake. That man can barely walk. Are you kidding me? Biden 2020. That is hilarious. Let's go.
Right? You have no idea where it is. So it's not like you can see whether you have a shot to the courtyard unless you know Charlie's speaking in the courtyard. The earliest that we found that was on September 2nd. The local media mentioned on KMYU that Charlie was speaking at UVU in the courtyard. Okay, that's the first time that we found this. If I am wrong, please tag me, because what he's referring to on August 27th that happened, which we have on our timeline as well, and this is why I love a timeline, is that TPUSA, UVU, and the local BYU chapter shared a graphic announcing that Charlie was coming to UVU, but there were absolutely no location details mentioned. So that actually does shred the idea that he could have practiced.
Somebody said in the chat, Harris 2028. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Kamala Harris doesn't know if she's black or if she's Asian. All she wants is women to get abortions. Are you kidding me? No, absolutely not. If she decides that she wants to run in the next president, she's going to be the first person voted off the primary in the next campaign trail. I guarantee it. Let's go.
Practically gone and scaled rooftops before September 2nd. That's the first public mention, is September 2nd. So they announced the event on August 27th, as he says, no location details. And then on September 2nd, there are location details provided by local media for the first time. Prove me wrong. Okay. Prove me wrong if I'm inaccurate, because I do think that we were thorough on that. I will update my timeline. If not, it does then beg the question, surely they must have footage after September 2nd of him.
Somebody says Zone 864 TV 2028. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. After you guys want to know something funny? I actually had aspirations of being in politics, being the president, as most, young black people do, But after Barack Obama, I said, nah, he didn't do anything, but, only thing he did was give gay people more rights. And I'm just like, no. I'm better off on YouTube and Rumble behind a microphone, just giving my opinion. No, I'm not going to do that. So you can blame Barack Obama. He completely discouraged me from doing anything in politics. I'm much, much, much better off behind a microphone. Thank you very much. No, thank you. No.
Testing the rooftop in some capacity to then realize, it's going to be an outdoor event. This is an opportunity for me to go after him. We are waiting for that. And like I said, I was told that they don't have anything that the public doesn't have. So it's not obvious to me. I don't think it's obvious to the public. Now, I do want to get to Viva Frey, who had this to say regarding drones. Regarding the text messages from Tyler Robinson.
A lot has been made about these text exchange that went back and forth between Robinson and his lover, his trans furry gay lover, whatever. And people say it doesn't sound right. Well, there is a video that I want everybody to check out by Turkey Tom. I believe you've watched it now, Viva, where, this has been authenticated as somebody who was in the Discord chats with them and apparently spent time with them at this apartment. And he said 100% this is how they talked, which is a striking finding. We're going to go into that more probably tomorrow or the next day, depending on how today goes. But I mean, I get the skepticism on this. At first, it struck me too, but apparently this is how they talk, Viva.
That was not the most implausible thing to believe. Okay, so you have a text message. It does read, regardless of whether or not this is how they talk, people saying they were manufactured by or drafted by AI. To the extent that they're confirmed text messages, you can, come to whatever conclusions you want after that. But whether or not this is how they talk regularly, to the extent that those were authentic text messages, they show what they show, which is whether or not his lover was aware of what was going on. You're etching bullets.
Guys, we're going to be winding down here shortly in the next few minutes. We're at 115 likes. Can we get to 125 likes? Can we get to 100? Can we get 10 more likes, ladies and gentlemen? Can we get 4 more subscribers? We're at 1,076 subscribers. We're at 1,076 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. Can we get 4 more subscribers? Can we get to 1,080? Can we get to 1,080 subscribers? Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button. Let's go.
And, it's maybe not for target practice of a sporting nature, but like when I say I don't believe the official narrative, and you have to go back to a number of things here. I put my sort of best theory as to what went down. I want to know who was on the Discord chat in advance, what they were discussing, and whether or not there might have been some other I say foreign, not foreign government, but outer influence there. Tyler Robinson is getting radicalized right about the same time as Thomas Crooks, right about the same time as the other guy, Ryan Ruth. He's being radicalized at a politically relevant period of time, right around the same time, oddly enough, as the alleged suspect in the January 6th pipe bomber. A time frame where political violence is potentially very useful in for the upcoming election. So the time frame of the radicalization is very interesting. To see whether or not he was on anybody's radar beforehand, we don't yet know that, and why there would not be confirmation on that can lead to suspicion. You remember the old man, George Zinn, arrested for claiming to be the shooter the day of, and then gets busted for CP on his phone. Like, in my mind, if I'm making a plausible theory here, George Zinn was probably on some Discord chat with a bunch of young perverts, and he's an old pervert, and he's getting off doing whatever they do on those chats. He knows what's going down. He shows up there and thinks he's going to be some useful decoy or distraction for Tyler Robinson because they know what's going down. That's my theory. But, it is the absence of total disclosure, the total lack of faith that anybody has, not just in the FBI per se, but in any state law enforcement. Nobody has any faith in our institutions anymore. And it leads people to go from, healthy skepticism to just not believing it, to concocting the most outlandish conspiracy theories imaginable. But then those text messages, you can understand how they will cause people to come to those types of conclusions. And, allegedly, the rumors are Kash Patel, getting mad at Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent for trying to look into a potential terrorist angle to this also does nothing to foment faith in the system.
Hey, yo, that dude was cooking, man. He was cooking a little bit, wasn't he? He was cooking, man. Hit that like button. Let's go.
Look, I think it's what he's saying there is perfectly valid, and we can all surmise about what we think happened that day. We can also ignore the fact that I broke the story that the nurses were told at Utah Valley, which treated George Zinn. Everyone's just ignoring the things that I broke. She has no evidence, but he told the nurses that he was paid to do that. So whatever, we can all theorize, and which we're going to do in the absence of any concrete facts. But I will say it's good that Turning Point is at least giving that air, right? I feel before, I think that might even be the first time Andrew Colvett has expressed that he thought that those messages were weird initially. That's good. That's what people want. They want fresh air at Turning Point USA. They want different perspectives. They want to feel like you're willing to have a conversation, and that at least you're going to defend people when they're being called liars when they're telling the truth about something. That would feel more authentic, I think. And so I am, just to say this, very happy that we are on much better feet and that we have opened the lines of communication. I do genuinely think that Justin Strife did a great job reffing that conversation yesterday. And I also do want to shout out Megyn Kelly, because we were trying to make this happen in the background, really since Blake Neff fumbled the first invite. And thank you. That's in large part because of you guys at home that were like, what the F was that? And I think that they got enough flack that they were like, okay, we got to fix this. But I want to commend him for making that happen, for being the person that, kind of rolled up his sleeves and was like, okay, let's actually make a conversation happen and start answering some questions, which I think was done well. And Megyn Kelly, who was initially going to, when we were going to live stream the conversation before the Barry Weiss moment, Megyn Kelly offered to ref that conversation. I felt like she would have done a very good job. I do think that she has kept it very even. She has not been hysterical and it's demonic, it's evil, how dare Candace? And I appreciated that. She has said, I don't agree with Candace, but I also don't think that she's doing this because she's been possessed by a demon. I think she actually believes these things, and I do. And I have a right to believe those things. And I don't feel any differently about the people that I mentioned on the show that I think are shady at Turning Point USA. And with time, we'll see whether or not I was right. I think that's really what it comes down to. But all around, definitely a productive conversation. I know it's 4 hours, so more things will come to my mind as they become relevant. But I think that's a good pause for right now. We'll throw to some of our sponsors. All right, you guys. So for many families, the holidays means excitement and also a little bit of stress between gifts, travel.
Okay, guys, so we're going to be winding down here. We are coming to the end of the live stream. Thank you all. We did get to 1,083 subscribers. Can we get to 1,090? Can we get to 1,090? We're getting ready to end the live stream here in just a few minutes. Can we get to 1,030 likes? We're at 126 likes. I'm sorry, I think I said that wrong. Can we get to 130 likes? We're at 126 likes. Can we get to 1,090 subscribers? So hit that notification bell, hit the subscribe button. Somebody's calling me a bootlicker. That's perfectly fine in the chat. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. As long as you hit the like button, I appreciate you for being here anyway, But hit the subscribe button. Can we get to 1,090 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen? And can we get to 130 likes? We need 2 more likes.
And for the basic, considered switching. That's why I'm without giving up equity loan to pay off upfront fee. 9.5 can find it. Also, can be in parasites, sushi. Unwilling parasites can toxic, fatigue, anxiety, potent on purge in daily at purge you everything out of your system. Okay, couple of housekeeping items, you guys. If you want to make him a sandwich in time for Christmas, you can do that on Amazon. If you want a discount, you can buy it direct from us and make him a sandwich. So be sure, fun merch going on right now. Hey, merch top keeps us free. And we are all sent for that to happen. Ultimate long game while staying true to her convictions and faithful in every step that you take. May God save America and protect us all. I want to say this to you guys, just plainly. If I was going to sell out, it would have happened in the last 2 years. Okay. Those offers were made. Those threats were made. I hope you have seen what I have gone through to keep myself, really. I was fighting to stay me, and it was hard. And that it made me really appreciate the fact that we do live in a matrix and every element is controlled. And that is why they are vicious right now with making up things about me and my family, because now that I chose freedom, they hate that I have freedom. They hate that there's no more threats to make, right? So they're just embarking on this fan fiction campaign. But especially for the people that I care about in life, right? Especially for people whose heads I have held up, who have held up my head through really hard times like Charlie did, that I would just sell out to like the highest bidder and go, oh, okay, well, you know what? BB offered me a lot of money, so I'm going to stop talking about this. And I'm no longer going to explore this angle, or I'm going to, to repeat to you guys, it was definitely Tyler Robinson. It's just not in my character. I have always been the kind of person that knows that it's not worth living life that way. My whole spirit would be corrupted. I couldn't do it. I struggle with people that can do it. I struggle seeing people who have so obviously sold their souls on the internet. It's very frustrating to watch it. Central 848 writes, Candace, please look into the possibility that Charlie was electrocuted and that the hole in his neck was made by the currents passing through his necklace and out of his throat. The images of his charred hands are conclusive and compelling. Please, for the love of God, look into this. I did watch that video that Baron Coleman put together. First and foremost, I want to say Baron Coleman has done some incredible work, and I actually told him that we should get together and collaborate because I had watched a video of his where he was building on Camp Huachuca, and he made me notice some things. So then we started researching some other elements, and that's what we're going to move on to tomorrow. I can tell you definitively that's a weird camera angle. They do look charred in the photos that he showed, but I can tell you that his hands were not charred when he was buried. And so what you thought that like people were like, oh, this was like makeup and stuff. It was a very compelling theory. It just wasn't so. And I very much trust the person that told me that. But that said, the Baron Coleman, if you have not seen the episode where he builds on what I said about.
Like, do you guys hear this ridiculous stuff? Do you guys hear this ridiculous stuff? A man literally gets assassinated in real life in public before thousands of people, and people want to say it's fake. And you hear all this weird conspiracy stuff that's going on. Like, this is ridiculous, man. It's disrespectful to the man's family. It's disrespectful to the man's children, disrespectful to the man's wife, man. And a lot of you conspiracy theories that believe that everything that's fake is real and everything that's real is fake, man, y'all are the problem, man. Y'all are a real problem. Like, seriously, man. Like get a life, man. Get a life, because if it was your loved one, if it was your family, I guarantee you wouldn't like it if people were coming up with all these weird conspiracy theories. And this is why Candace Owens is having to walk back a lot of the early claims that she said, oh, the shooting wasn't real. Oh, the blood wasn't real. All of this kind of stuff. Because Erika Kirk had to set her straight. Like, listen, you keep talking about my husband. You really are not going to be able to broadcast on these YouTube streets. You're going to have some real problems. Say what you want about Erika Kirk, but she will get your shit shut down in the snap of a finger. In the snap of a finger. That's all I'm saying. And that's the reason why Candace had to go online and do this broadcast, because Erika Kirk put the word in, Candace, if you don't go and get all this straightened out, it's going to be a real problem for you. That's the only reason why Candace is doing this. Keep playing with Erika if y'all want to, man. Keep saying all this BS if y'all want to. And I'm not trying to take up for Erika. I'm just stating the obvious, because Candace has been on her square this entire time. She's been saying whatever she wants this entire time. Now, all of a sudden, you have a sit down behind closed doors. And now you want to start walking back a lot of things that you said. It's no coincidence, man. It's no coincidence. Erika put the word in. Erika put her foot down. Erika told Candace to go on air and correct all these wrongs, or it's going to be a real problem out here. And now what we see Candace doing, splaining her life away.
About Camp Huachuca, that is worth a watch. He kind of suggests in that episode, which I want to shut down, he suggests that, I think he heavily suggests that it could have been the Veep on that on the bass, Vance on the bass, and I did then research because I was like, oh wow, is he right? There's actually video of Vance, so it could not have been Vance on the bass. Again, I'm getting ahead of ourselves here. We should talk about more of that tomorrow. But that is a very compelling video that he did, which was fantastic work. And I do want to collaborate with him. Maybe we'll do it this week or next week. Or is next week Christmas? I guess. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Jenna writes, your true fans had no doubts about you whatsoever. Merry Christmas to you. I was like, are you new here? Girl, I have been maimed, fired, caricature. I'm watching right now. My family go through that right now because they are so desperate. And I just think we're close to an awakening and really understanding what real evil is. So we're going to keep pushing. Zachary Loft writes, longtime listener, first time donor. Why wasn't the convo live? Why is Brandon Tatum the only creator that you follow on both IGs? That was 2 questions. Okay. The first thing, why wasn't the convo live? It was first intended to be live. They did say, obviously you saw the offer Blake Neff made, which was not a true offer.
Now, as a content creator, I try my damnedest. I try my best. I try my best not to talk about other content creators in a negative way. Because I'm live on YouTube. People do their content on YouTube. These are my coworkers. And part of being a content creator or just the average citizen is the First Amendment. You have the freedom of speech. You have the right to say what you want to say. But I do have to say this, Brandon Tatum, in my personal opinion, I don't know the man personally, but somebody called me a bootlicker in the chat. Brandon Tatum is really, really a bootlicker. I'm just like Candace. I've seen him say some off the wall stuff as well, just like Candace. I haven't watched a lot of his content, but the content that I've seen, I'm just like, this dude, he's another one. He's one of these conservative douchebags that, went over to the extreme right, started making these ridiculous statements, trying to make some money. I'm not hating on the hustle, make your money. But like what Candace is saying, a person, I'm not going to sell my soul just to make a few dollars. That's just not me. Because whatever we say online, it has consequences. Well, yeah, in my personal, Brandon Tatum is another one of these conservative douchebags that just like, he's a boot. Somebody called me a bootlegger. I think he's a bootlegger, a bootlicker.
But then what came behind that was Erika communicating with Megyn Kelly and me. Megyn Kelly was kind of the intermediary. We were trying to find someone that was fair, like I said earlier. And then obviously it sort of felt like it got a bit uglier the next week. And I sort of felt, and I think it was fair, that then she went on this press tour and it was kind of directed at me. So then they said, okay, well, by that I mean Justin Strife kind of said, the temperature's a little hot right now. What about we do like not an off record conversation, but have a private conversation. And I actually will say, I wished it was live.
Somebody said in the chat, why wasn't the interview live? The interview wasn't live because, again, Candace Owens right now is splaining her life away. She's trying to make it seem like, her and Erika had a little cute peace talk. They met to go over certain things. They met to try to, clear all of this nonsense up. The reason it wasn't live, in my personal opinion, is because Erika put the word in. Okay. Erika, you heard what Candace said earlier in the interview. For those of you that have been watching this whole hour and a half, Candace said there was a night at Mar-a-Lago, which is President Trump's resort down in Florida, that in one night, not Turning Point USA, in one night, Erika Kirk made $40 million in one night. And then after that, Turning Point USA, since Charlie Kirk was assassinated in September, Turning Point USA has made over $100 million. So that's why the interview was not aired live, because Erika Kirk is on some gangster shit, in my personal opinion. And Erika said, Candace, if you don't fix this shit, I'm at your head, son. So that's why they had to get Megyn Kelly involved to be the mediary and set it up and try to be the peace talk person. That's why it wasn't interviewed live, because it was some gangster stuff that was going on behind closed doors. And that's just my personal opinion. I don't know that for a fact.
But I will also say I am glad that some parts warrant, because I was then able to tell them some things that I have not yet said that I wanted to like fact check and get some answers on, but also to say something to them that I found out that I didn't say because I didn't want to hurt the company in a way, right? So some of this is very relevant to Charlie's research and what happened on 9/10, and some of it is not. So we got to, I guess, have a better, that portion of the conversation I think was better off camera. But I was always open and am still open to live streaming with them whenever. Truly, like whenever. You guys know I'm an open book. So it wasn't my demand that it be private. I was happy to do a live stream.
And we're getting ready to wrap this stream up in about the next 7 or 8 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you all very much for getting us to the like goal of 130 likes. We've actually surpassed that goal at 135 likes. We're at 1,085 subscribers. So can we get 5 more subscribers, ladies and gentlemen, before we end the stream? That's going to get us to 1,090 subscribers. Please hit that notification bell. We will be going live again a little bit later this evening. Right now it's 4:14 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 6:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. People are just now getting up, going to work, making their coffee, eating their cereal. So I appreciate everyone who joined me this evening to review this Candace Owens addressing of the Erika Kirk sit down to dispel all of the rumors that's been going on since Charlie Kirk was assassinated in September.
But I think Justin thought that it would be better if after, just so we could kind of bring the temperature down, which I think was very much accomplished. Temperature was definitely brought down. Zachary Loft wrote, longtime listener for, oh, sorry, I just read that. Mr. Bruce Lee writes, people in the chat, many other channels are not hearing what they want to hear. So it's automatically, well, Candace got paid. The chats are so botted. It's better to actually look at comments after the episode to see what people think. And we've had so many people talk about how there are so many bots in the chat. And so focus on obviously the words that I am saying. And obviously you can tell that I have not been paid because I wouldn't be talking about Israel. And I think there's something to explore there. We'll get into that tomorrow. One Will Wallace writes, pretty clear to me that Kirk was murdered because of his voice and influence. Here's some support toward that security detail. Thank you very much. It's obvious that these people will stop at nothing to silence someone. Continue to stand 10 toes down for the truth. But please be careful. God bless you, Candace. Thank you. That is actually a tremendous donation. Thank you for guys who have been giving these donations, which have gotten bigger because you're concerned about security. And I think everybody after a Charlie Kirk assassination is more concerned about security. It's a discussion that my husband and I are having more and more. And that's why it feels especially disgusting.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, it shouldn't take a Charlie Kirk situation for you to have the right type of protection and security. I don't care if you're a rapper, a singer, entertainer, politician, anybody of some type of esteemed prominence, right? You should definitely make sure that you have the proper protection and security, especially if you're going to be doing these public outings at all times. Now, I usually don't give advice because people don't listen to advice, but I will in this case. I think that if you're somebody that is of the ilk of a Charlie Kirk, even, I hate to say it, even a Nick Fuentes, which, is a whole nother story. We'll get to him later. If you're somebody that's, a public speaker, any type of fame, notoriety, prominence, if you are a person people gather, by the dozens, by the hundreds, by the thousands, you need to have the right type of security. You need to have the right type of protection. And I'll tell you what, stop speaking at these outside engagements. Now, I know there's not 100%, there's not a way to stop a threat, especially of the caliber that took out Charlie Kirk. There's not a way to stop that 100%, but you could definitely mitigate the risk by being indoors. You don't have to have thousands of people to be at your rally. You could probably have a few hundred. And I would much rather be safe indoors than outside where I know anybody could do anything. So that's the number one suggestion. Yes, you need to have security. Yes, you need to have the right kind of protection. But I think that you could also majorly mitigate the risk by being indoors. I mean, that's just common sense. That's just me giving an explanation or an idea that would help out tremendously. It just seems like common sense to me. That's just me, though.
When someone like Tim Pool is trying to signal to people, attack her. Like, he's basically trying to signal to people that her security is weak, or like she's using the same security as Charlie, all of these things, like he is trying to put into the air that he wants me to be attacked. That's how I'm taking this, because why is he making my security a theme on his show? I don't trust that at all. And I don't know what's guiding that. Rio Bays writes, how would Erika and the feds not see those messages? That makes zero sense to me. I think you're referring to the messages that Charlie got the night before. Yeah, we didn't discuss whether the feds had received those messages. I will say that. We did not discuss that. But we did discuss, she obviously said that she did not see those messages. So I'm going to read the rest of your comment. How would Erika and the feds not see those messages? That makes zero sense. Erika, Brian Harpole, and so many others caught in these lies. This is what you fished for. Why go soft? That doesn't make sense. Also heard that we are chilling with TPUSA members at Tucker's party. That's another more fan fiction. I have no idea what that was about.
Somebody just made a really good comment in the live chat here. What a weird screen name. Texas Balls says, they call us bots and trolls, but in truth, we the viewers make you in the same way the viewers can break you. The internet belongs to the masses, not to influencers or governments. I totally agree with that. 1,000,000%. And this is what I try to tell people. You guys, I try to tell people, who are just starting their YouTube channels, Twitch channels, Rumble, whatever. Listen, it's the people that will make you, and it's the people that will break you. Without the viewers, without the subscribers, without your supporters, you have no following. You have no base. You have no support. You have no channels. And I can't tell you how many times I see these content creators. Of course, me personally, Zone, right here on Zone 864 TV. Do I want to make $1 million doing this? Absolutely. I got bills. I got responsibilities. I have duties. I have priorities. I have goals. I have things I want to do in life. Making money is a good thing. Making a lot of money, damn sure, is a good thing. Do I want to make money? Absolutely. But I will never make money at the detriment of belittling the people who support me. Because without you guys in the live chat, I don't exist. Without you guys tuning in tonight or this morning, depending on where you are, the stream goes nowhere. I don't exist. So I just want to take the time to thank everybody for being here. And that is what these content creators that have millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers, that's what they seem to forget. That's why they fall off, because they forget about the people who made them. And ultimately, this is why the people who made them eventually will break them.
You're referring to a person who went and said that Candace was hanging out with TPUSA and Tucker and Marjorie Taylor Greene at Tucker's Christmas party. To my knowledge, I did not see any Turning Point USA employees. I did not have a conversation with any Turning Point USA employees. To my knowledge, that I did not see them. It was a massive party. I have never had beef with Tucker. That's why I was at his Christmas party. And I've never had beef with Marjorie Taylor Greene. So yeah, I spoke to them. That's what I mean. It's like the attacks are just every second of every day accusing me of something. And the implication there was like I was like sitting on the side laughing and enjoying a beer with Terrell Farnsworth and Tyler Boyer. I am sure, because Tucker obviously has a good relationship with them, that there were some Turning Point USA employees. I didn't speak to them. To my knowledge. I did not speak to them. So I actually responded and I said to the person, why don't you publish who you're talking about? You don't have to, like, everyone's like beating around the bush. Like, I can't say what I know about her security. Say it, because you're lying. Okay. If you say you know something about how I'm actually secretly laughing with Turning Point USA, speak plainly. I have nothing to hide. I am not the person who's playing any games right now. So if you're going to call me out, go all the way. Okay. Go max on calling me out, because if I'm a fraud, the public sure as hell deserves to know it. And you're not going to find me in a situation like that. Isabella Mazzone writes, can you elaborate more about Charlie and his journey to Catholicism? Did Erika confirm that? I am going through a journey with Catholicism as well. And I think that they should be honest about that. Look, obviously, Erika confirmed it. I was always telling the truth. That was one of the first things I said. I was like, what was that weird Alex Clark thing? I was being attacked for no reason. And then I get these people doubling down on it. And I know that they know that it's true that Charlie was going to mass.
Guys, we're at 146 likes. Can we get to 150 likes? Can we get 4 more likes? Can we get 4 more likes, ladies and gentlemen?
And I can't speak on whether he was close to converting. That's a conversation, like you said. Erika can speak on that, and there might be a time and a place for her to do that. I can only speak on the fact that I wasn't lying and that I was having those conversations with him, that he was attending mass. And I do think, from what I've been told, that he was planning on signing up and starting that process, but I did not personally have that conversation with him. So that's third party. The right person to speak about that would be Erika. And I do think she should. I think she should, because nobody was nastier to me than the Judeo-Christians, the evangelical crowd, because I told the truth about conversations that I had with Charlie about Catholicism. And none of them corrected the record. None of them said, I'm sorry. None of them said I didn't know what I was speaking about. They just kind of doubled and tripled down on attacking me, which is a repeat theme. I'm always being attacked for telling the truth, and I just keep telling the truth. So, yeah. What's the lie? Where is the lie? Where is the lie?
No, Candace, you're not being attacked for telling the truth. You're being attacked for telling false narratives. Like, the bullet that killed Charlie Kirk wasn't real. The blood that came from Charlie Kirk's body wasn't real. But, running with all of these different conspiracy theories and narratives that are, in my personally, simply not true. Saying things like Tyler Robinson wasn't the shooter. How do you know? You weren't there? Just like I wasn't there. That's why you're being attacked, because you're saying dumb things and you have no idea what you're talking about. No one's saying any negative things about you when you actually are telling the truth, when you actually are exposing people, when you actually are bringing us substantive information that we should know. No one's attacking you, but everyone's going to attack you when you're saying dumb shit like that. Again, highly disrespectful to the man's children, highly disrespectful to the man's wife, highly disrespectful to the people that were Charlie Kirk supporters. And it's very frustrating, as intelligent as Candace Owens is, to see her take such a low route, see her take such a low road. Because there are a lot of dumb people that are behind a microphone. And I have no problem saying that, but Candace is just not one of them. So you're not being attacked for telling the truth. You're being attacked for spewing inappropriate, dangerous rhetoric. That's why you're being attacked.
Lastly, Lamp writes, how come Qatar is always used as the go-to punching bag by the media? Why does Qatar never even push back? And Qatar seems to never attack Israel in a war of aggression or any sort of attack. Have they ever even done anything negative toward Israel? Well, Qatar recently came out and said, yeah, we work with Hamas because Israel and the United States asked us to. They asked us to play the intermediary. And now we are being attacked for doing what they asked us to do, which sounds like the most absolute United States Israel thing ever. is to ask people to help you and then to be like, oh, I'm so horrified by what they're doing. And I tend to believe that. I don't understand the weird Qatar thing. Like I said, I would take Qatari money. I would. They haven't called me. It's deeply upsetting. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong, what I'm getting wrong, what I can do better to make them call me. I would be totally one of those people that's in the commercials. Have you seen, like, Qatari Airlines is supposed to be amazing, apparently. And I'd be in a commercial for Qatari Airlines. I don't mind somebody making that NAI video and maybe sending that over to the Qatari embassy and seeing if they want to hire me. I am open to being paid by Qatar. So I don't get it. I don't know why Jared Kushner and Zionists are allowed to go to Qatar, which happened recently, and do deals with them. But for some reason, Candace and Tucker are not. It's just not fair. What do I have to do to be seen by Qatar? I guess it's a question for another day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay, so there we have it. Candace Owens addresses the sit down between her and Erika Kirk. So going forward, it will be interesting to see if Candace Owens' tone changes. Let's see. Dude doesn't even realize no one hearing him over his own audio. Let me see here. Hold on one second. Testing. Yeah, my audio is working, so I don't know what this guy is talking about. But nonetheless, I appreciate everyone for joining me. You guys don't know how much this means to me because I got monetized on December 11th and YouTube has literally been shadow banning my content. I try to go live. There's only 2 or 3 people in the chat. You know, I try to make this switch. There's only 3 or 4 people in the chat. And I'm just like, okay, what's going on? So I just want you guys to know, if you guys are content creators, especially if you're newer content creators, YouTube, once you get monetized, YouTube will mess with your algorithm. YouTube will do everything that they can to try to minimize your views, especially when you go in a live stream. Why? Because now they have to share the money with you. Now they have to actually share the money with you, because I don't know if you guys know, but for the non-monetized content creators, YouTube still makes money off of that content. YouTube still gets AdSense off of content creators that do pre-recorded content, live stream content. That's not my. YouTube has made almost $1,000 off of my content when I wasn't monetized. Just last month, YouTube made almost $1,000 off of my content just last month when I wasn't monetized. So what happens is, when you become monetized, YouTube will throttle your channel so that they can lessen the money that they actually have to pay you. So the fact that you guys are here with me tonight, is wonderful. I can't believe that there's so many people in this live stream. And I know the stream has been kind of choppy, but that's because I have so much stuff going on in the background. I had to use my technological brain, and my college education to figure out how. You guys think it's just as simple as going live. You guys that are watching me on YouTube right now, you guys don't even know that you're not watching me on YouTube. You guys are actually watching a mirror. This is a live stream on YouTube, but you're watching a mirror from a different streaming website that I'm on right now, which is why YouTube actually allowed me into the algorithm. If I would have went live straight through YouTube, there would only be one person in here right now. So you guys don't know how much rigging I had to do to try to even get this stream to work. So that's why I'm so grateful that you guys are here. That's why I'm so grateful that you guys hit the like button. That's why I'm so grateful that you guys hit the subscribe button. And I hope you hit that notification bell as well. You guys don't understand how much this really means to me, because a lot of people work really hard to become monetized on YouTube, and they can never get monetized. People make content all day long. They don't get any views. And, they give up the dream of wanting to be monetized. So I appreciate all y'all being here. I appreciate everybody that, that is rocking with me, and everybody that don't like me, because I had quite a few haters in here talking about, oh, he must be getting paid, and who do you work for, and you're an agent, and all this kind of goofy stuff. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to Delaware in the building. Yo, let me know, what time is it? It's 4:30 in the morning, Mountain Standard Time, where I am right now. I know y'all just getting up to go to work. Y'all are gonna have to watch the replay. And you guys can find me on Rumble. You guys can find me on Rumble as well. I'm going to spam my link. I'm going to spam my Rumble link. You know what I'm saying? This is a good place, you know what I'm saying, fellas. If you see an avatar in here that you like, you know what I'm saying, you might meet your girlfriend in here. You might meet you a wifey in here. Ladies, you might meet you a boyfriend in here. You might meet you a husband in here. This is actually my favorite part of the stream, is where we get done with the content. And then we could just chop it up, because this allows me to, talk with y'all. And here's the thing. If you guys are here, right? Because YouTube will tell me who the repeat visitors are. And I'm looking forward to try to get to know you guys. I'm looking forward to try to get familiar with some of my repeat viewers. Like, do I want to make money from making content? Absolutely. Would I like to make a living from making content? Absolutely. But I know you guys are here to watch content, but I think that's one of the major benefits of social media, specifically live viewing, is that you can actually get in touch with people all across the globe, all across the world. Let me not say globe, because there's a lot of people out here that believe the earth is flat. Let me switch that up. There's a lot of flat earth believers out here, At one point in time, we had explorers thinking that they were going to sail to the end of the earth, So I won't say globe, I'll say all across the world, So if you're watching from your computer, I just spammed my Rumble link in the chat, which is actually what you guys are watching on YouTube. That's why it looks so choppy. That's why it looks so funny. Somebody says, does live stream make you more cash? It really depends. It really depends. There are some people that only do pre-recorded videos, that only upload. Guys, listen. I'll break it down to you like this, right? There are content creators that I know in real life. All they do is live stream, and they make probably about $11,000 to $15,000 a month just live streaming on YouTube. Now, these content creators, they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they've been doing this for like 8, 9, 10 years. So, they've been here for quite a while. So yeah, I know some content creators that only live stream that literally make about $15,000 a month, maybe even more, with super chats and Cash App, Venmo, all of these types of things, right? Now I have a long way to go before I get there, and I'm not in a rush. I'm I'm taking things slow. Like I said, I actually want to get to know my viewers. I want to see repeat names in this chat every time that I go live, And then there are some content creators who literally never go live, who only upload videos. Some of those content creators literally make like 20,000. The ones that upload, they make anywhere from about $8,000 to $20,000 a month. The ones that I know personally. There are content creators who literally only go live once a year. They go live once a year just to get into the live stream algorithm. And the rest of the year, they just upload videos. They make 8, 9, 10,000, up to $20,000 a month. So of course, again, these guys have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they make good content. And that's another thing. You can't just upload any old regular video and think that you're going to get paid for it. No, it actually has to be decent content that's going to be watched, 1 to 150 to 200,000 times. That's how you make money. There are literally content creators who upload, 5 or 6 videos in one day, and they make, $1,000 a day, literally. But again, that takes time. But listen, I'm not going to keep you guys here any longer. I appreciate everybody that came out this evening or this morning, depending on where you are in the world. Interesting fact. Strawberries are not berries, but bananas are. Have a good night.